All right, everybody, welcome in. I am WCA3 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty, jumping on here with you guys to talk a little bit about severe weather that is currently moving into parts of central Illinois. Just kind of a large kind of picture here of everything that's going on. We've got tornado warnings and just a huge area of severe thunderstorm warnings that stretches all the way back into Livingston County, so Pontiac. Now getting into, though, McLean County, and where they've got a brand new tornado warning that's just been issued. A sliver of DeWitt County, half of Logan County there, all of this under a severe thunderstorm warning, and now a tornado warning. Anywhere along this line, there is that potential for little tornadic circulations, and that's kind of what we've got going on right now. Okay, so that is just north and kind of west there of the Bloomington normal area. So you're going to be, well west of the area there, but this circulation would be kind of coming into Bloomington in the next half hour or so. We get these little spin ups along here. See this, how this kind of protrudes out a little bit here. And so this we call kind of a little nub that we've got. That's where there is the potential for a tornado. And that's going to be right there along I-74. So between Bloomington and Peoria on I-74 right now is where there is that potential for a tornado. Okay. So if you're watching us here right now, across the area, let us know where you are watching from. We're going to continue to keep you updated on all of these storms as they move in. Here's the general progression of this entire line of storms as it's kind of diving to the south and east. And now we've got to worry about these little spin ups, and anywhere along this entire line, 60, 70 mile per hour winds are all going to be possible as they move in. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue to track this for you and keep you updated on just kind of how all of this is going to play out, because we look at the wider view. And there's a ton of you watching elsewhere. Obviously, nothing right now in Fort or Iroquois County. There's nothing in Vermilion, Champaign, Pied counties here. But down the line, as this moves in, there's going to be that potential for severe weather to continue. So we're going to be definitely keeping a close eye on all of this as it moves in, because anywhere along this line is where we have that potential for some really strong winds. We've already had some, reports of 80 to 100 mile an hour winds. It was north of Galesburg earlier. So that just kind of gives you the kind of the big picture, shows you this long line that's now pushing into Livingston County, McLean County, Logan County as well. Again, with severe thunderstorms and the potential for now a tornado right here on our storm just coming into northwestern McLean County right now. So again, that's what we're looking at this time. There is some of that rotation associated with the storm that we're looking at. We can switch over to that for you. And it's going to be right there. So essentially your rotation is going to be right about there and going to be kind of riding right along I-74. So if you know anybody there, traveling probably east of Morton there along I-74, you would definitely want to give them a heads up, because that storm now showing signs of rotation and moving to the south and east. So that's what we've got there. Bloomington. Okay, if this would kind of stay on its same track there, this would be kind of coming in eventually down the line to the Bloomington normal area. Will this rotation continue or not? Again, it's right there where this little kind of front end nub is. That's exactly where the potential tornado is located. So now we're going to watch this whole area move in. All right, let me put this very plain and clear to everyone watching tonight from the 500 potential different cities, towns, and villages out there. And kind of how we roll with this is everyone essentially is under a risk for severe weather. Everybody, okay? Can't say exactly where and exactly what time that you're all going to see something, but we know that there is that threat, especially for some of the counties here that we've got the tornado watch that is in effect for. So that's until 1 a.m. So anybody out there, especially in the tornado watch, has the potential to see tornadoes, but everybody has the potential for severe thunderstorm wind gust here as well, even beyond this 1 a.m. tornado watch. So this goes for everybody. So as people start to ask for some of the different towns and whatnot, pretty much everyone may have the potential to catch some of that severe weather. So again,
74 or 57?
it's a tough call. I mean, that's a little spin up. That's anywhere along this is going to be a spin up. There's definitely stronger winds on the northern portion of this. It's going to be coming into the Livingston County, but you know, 6 of one, half a dozen in the other on weather on I-74, I-57. I don't know, man. It's a tough call. Tough call. Bloomington again. There's definitely some strong winds there. I don't know, man. I mean, maybe 74. Maybe 74.
Okay. Can I go north from 74 west to 57 north? I think I can still, can I?
Can you go what now?
North on 57 from 74? I think I can.
I think you can now.
I'll probably go sit at Bloomington Road.
Yeah.
For a few minutes.
Sure.
And fill the tank, but I'm hanging out.
All right. Okay, so lighting up. That's Peoria. That's actually East Peoria over there by the boat. That's what you're looking at with that camera there. What I wanted to do is pull up our cameras that are located over in Bloomington and just kind of look at those as that storm is going to be coming in before too long. So probably, obviously, it's nighttime. It's dark. It's tough to see anything here this late at night. But as the storms get closer, maybe some lightning there. So we'll be watching our camera there in the Bloomington area. But Peoria got hit pretty hard with these storms as they just recently kind of came through the area. You're talking about, some 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts that they had some reports there. So there's a view from Peoria there. Again, the strongest parts of the storms now pushing out of Peoria, but now they're going to be heading into McLean County here before too long. You still see some of those flashes of lightning that are out there. But there you go. There's the lightning. So, I mean, just the Weather Service is essentially going to make this whole line, just take this whole line and say, all right, you're going to blanket warn this entire line here. And that's pretty much what they have to do in this kind of scenario because the line of storms are moving fast. What's going to be interesting is to see how this develops back out to the west. Okay. So, this line is diving to the south and east. There seems to be a weakening trend. If you look at it, just in terms of, see how the colors, we get less of some of the reds and, deep, dark kind of oranges in there. But what we've been kind of watching is potential some of these models to kind of back build this and then still kind of strengthen it as what's called a low level jet kicks in at nighttime. And it can actually start to potentially enhance storms. There's a ton of energy out there. The current instability or CAPE values are 5,000-6,000 at 9 o'clock at night. So there's a lot of energy for these to tap into. So don't let your guard down just because you're seeing this line kind of weaken a little bit on radar, because I still think it's packing a punch. And again, we still have this area, right, coming into northwest McLean County, and it's still kind of standing out. This little nub right there is where you'd have some of that circulation. And so that's where that potential tornado is going to be located. And that's going to come right there along I-74. And you're going to want to be paying close attention if you know anybody that's over in the Bloomington area, as that storm is essentially kind of riding right along the interstate and moving off here to the south and east. Right now, Bloomington, you are not under the warning. I will tell you this, that we are getting ready to do our 9 o'clock newscast. So what we'll do here is kind of take a brief little pause for a second, but we're going to try to switch you back over to the newscast feed, and then you can watch that. And then we'll jump back on here when we need to, in between newscasts, and just kind of let you know what's going on. Again, for our kind of immediate coverage area, we've got a handful of counties with severe thunderstorm warnings more expected here. So just give me a second. I'm gonna pause it just here just for a second in terms, throw a little graphic up for you, and then we will be right back with more severe weather coverage. So stay tuned. Of the viewing area here tonight. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect for Livingston County. Parts of McLean County, also a tornado warning there. Let's zoom in. And again, this is going to be just north and west of Bloomington, near the Danvers area. Circulation coming in. This whole line has really strong winds associated with it. They have kind of blanket warned this whole area. And so this is starting to come into Logan County, northwestern McLean County, and Livingston County as well. We'll put the kind of the loop on this for you. You can kind of see how everything is diving to the south and east and running into a robust atmosphere full of a lot of energy, a lot of humidity. You feel it if you've been out there. It's been a hot day. The latest on this severe weather, we'll talk more about it in the forecast coming up as WCA3 News starts right now.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA3 News at 9 on X49.
Good evening. I'm Brendan Morano. The heat is moving out. Now the focus is on severe weather. High winds, flooding, and tornadoes could all be a possibility tonight. Our chief meteorologist, Kevin Lighty, joins us again. Kevin, what's the timeline look like for tonight?
Well, things are just starting to kind of really get going here, and the model's kind of bringing it in about an hour or so earlier, but we are starting to see just kind of the leading edge of this. This is the tornado watch that's in effect until 1 a.m. It includes places like Danville and Champaign and Monticello and Decatur and Clinton, and this could turn out to be kind of a longer night because of just the evolution of how these storms are kind of moving right now. Let's get back to the radar. That's the big picture here. You can see we've got warnings in Livingston County, okay? Pretty much anywhere along the leading edge of this line, the Weather Service is going to warn for. So we're going to be watching Pontiac here. We're also watching this area here in McLean County, where there could be some of that rotation. And then stretching back into Logan County, Lincoln. Soon, you're going to have some of that severe weather beginning to roll into the area. And these warnings are probably just going to continue as we go throughout the rest of tonight. So let's show you again kind of the path that these are taking, diving to the south and east, but I'm anticipating some more redevelopment here of this line over the next few hours and into the overnight period as well. All right, we'll come back. We'll talk more about what to expect for the rest of tonight. If any other mornings come in, we'll, of course, jump in. In the meantime, we'll send it back over to Brandon.
All right, Kevin, thank you. With the possibility of severe weather, a NOAA weather radio station is offline in several central Illinois locations. The Odell station, which covers parts of Livingston, Ford, and Iroquois counties, is not on air as of earlier today. NWS says it's because of a telecommunications issue, and a technician is working to restore it. Until the problem is fixed, you're asked to tune into a nearby NOAA weather radio station. To find one close by, we have it on our website, WCIA.com. We have a news update for you. A Champaign teenager missing since Saturday has been found. The police found 15-year-old Damian Andrews earlier tonight. They've confirmed he is safe. Now to a follow-up on a proposal that could hurt volunteer fire departments. OSHA wants to implement a new policy for all stations nationwide, but some fire chiefs are worried about the strain it would put on volunteer fire departments. If passed, they would be required to update their equipment every 10 years, no matter the condition, and would also have to spend more hours training. The Thomasboro fire chief says if the proposal passes, they'll be out $25,000 to $30,000 each year.
Volunteer firefighters who have full-time jobs and do this to serve their community is a huge burden for them. Career departments, such as like Champaign-Urbana and New York, like I mentioned, those guys have training time built into their day.
He says they've been doing all they can to voice their opinion on how volunteer departments would need extra help if these new standards are approved. The Sarah Bush Lincoln Dental Program is getting more than $100,000 in grant money. It's to expand its teledentistry program for at-risk children. Currently, they help 3,300 kids within their 10-county service area. They have established dental clinic in Mattoon, plus a mobile program that travels to 61 schools. The program will use the money for teledentistry on their mobile dental bus. That lets dental hygienists treat patients before they've had an exam with a licensed dentist. SBL says their plan is to equip the mobile dental bus with equipment like a portable x-ray and the ability to pull up electronic medical records. Some polling places in Macon County are being relocated ahead of November's general election. The voting center for Decatur 16, 18, 19, and 22 will be moved back to the House of Miracles Pentecostal Church. The county clerk says they had to relocate for the primary election because the facility was closed and sold to a new owner. New voter ID cards are being mailed out to those who were affected, which will include their new polling place address. You're asked to review your voter ID before the November election to verify your polling location. For an updated list of polling places, head to our website, WCIA.com. We have a news update on the Effingham County Animal Shelter. The shelter has never stayed full for this long, and now we know why. It isn't because there's a major increase in animal intakes. There's a decrease in adoptions, and they've been at capacity for 3 solid weeks. Effingham County is not alone. The Douglas County Animal Shelter has also remained full, but for opposite reasons. Their intake rates are at an all-time high. They say animals are being dumped because people can't afford to continue to care for them with the cost of living rising. An Effingham County official says it can be stressful when those shelters are full.
It's pretty hectic because on top of everything being full, we have to clean each and every single one every single day. So it takes longer for us to clean, then it takes longer for us to get to applications, get pictures of our animals, get them posted. We do vaccinations. So we have a lot on our plate. And then with that being full, trying to run around and make sure everything's taken care of takes just a little bit longer.
They say the best way to help is to foster or adopt. Other ways include volunteering and donating dog and cat food. Also in Effingham, families will soon have a new place to play. The area trampoline park is coming. The main part of the space is 25,000 square feet. It'll have trampoline dodgeball courts, dunking mats, a Ninja Warrior course, rock climbing wall, and open trampolines as well. The space will also have separate trampoline areas for younger children. Mom and Dad got the idea to open the place after wanting more for their own kids.
But we have 3 kids, 10, 8, and 6, and we're just constantly looking for things to do to get them off their devices and outside and doing fun things.
Construction inside the building starts this week. The arena is set to open in September. The Republican National Convention is underway, who former President Donald Trump chose as his running mate. Plus, an incredible image caught during severe weather up north, when more is set to roll through again. And speaking of that, you're busy over there.
Well, just saw a report north of Peoria not too long ago of 105-mile-an-hour wind gusts. 105. Wow. Wild stuff. Here's the line coming through. There is a tornado warning, small little box there coming into Bloomington pretty much as we speak. All along this line, you could have 70, 80-mile-an-hour winds. We're getting tons of reports coming into us. Some damage possibly up in the Morton area, which is southeast there of Peoria. We'll have more on what to expect for the rest of tonight when we come back. All right, folks that are watching us on the live stream here. Again, we're in the middle of our newscast at 9 o'clock. We're doing what we can here to kind of keep you guys updated on all of this. Storm's really starting to get going now. And so, again, you can tune in on the news here at 9 o'clock if you would like to see some more, as we're trying to do our best to kind of keep up with everything. So just hang tight here with us.
Now, Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Kevin Lighty.
All right, that's a view from our camera in Bloomington right now. As you can see, it's bouncing around a little bit. The storms are literally coming into the Bloomington normal area as we speak, and kind of getting going over that way. Again, they allowed the tornado warning to expire, so that's actually not in effect anymore, as it was kind of just southeast of Peoria there. But they still have some fairly strong winds that are coming in here. As a matter of fact, the severe thunderstorm warning box that you see there is going to be kind of that higher end there with some 70, maybe 80 mile an hour winds. But if you're out there in McLean County right now, it's really starting to ramp up. Now, technically, our kind of viewing area kind of begins, kind of down around the Hayworth area where some of you watch us from, and then getting into Lincoln here. So we're just kind of nudging its way into what's considered the WCI viewing area. A lot of that is covered by the Peoria region of where those storms have come through so far. But just to kind of give you an idea, this whole line is coming in. So, we're going to be watching Gibson City. We're going to be watching, you get up here into northwestern Champaign County, and you're talking about, Fisher, and you're talking about up in northern Piatt County, Clinton there before too long. So what we have to watch for is anywhere along this, there could be little spin ups, so the potential for tornadoes. That's why a tornado watch is in effect until 1 a.m. And boy, it is warm still. It's still 85 degrees. We've still got dew points into the 70s. And it still feels like it's 98 in Decatur, Bloomington, and Lincoln. That is muggy. That's a lot of moisture. That's a lot of energy for those storms to kind of tap into. So kind of keep that in mind. Again, here comes the big line of storms as it dives to the south and east. It's been rocking and rolling through Iowa through much of the night. And again, the models here have it, pretty close to kind of how things are going to play out through 11 o'clock tonight. The real question is do we get some of this back building? Can these storms to kind of redevelop here and still be packing a punch at, 2 a.m.? Some of the models have hinted at that. And so the Storm Prediction Center still has this, enhanced risk and that moderate risk to the north. I think that winds of 70 miles an hour are definitely not out of the question. High end on the threats there, but I think that you may get that, there's not out of the question to get 80 miles an hour there. We're watching into McLean and Livingston and Ford and northern Iroquois County. I mean, this is a high-end wind event potentially. Just got to briefly kind of touch on tomorrow as that system kind of pushes to the south. There may be some redevelopment of storms, especially near I-70 late in the morning there. So we're going to watch that and just see there's potential for it. That front may move far enough to the south. We don't see that, but just something we're going to have to kind of wait and watch. Here's the awesome thing. Give it a day or so, and these dew points are going to come crashing down. Still think it's pretty muggy tomorrow because the front, kind of that cooler and drier doesn't really get in here till Wednesday. But after that, boy, it's going to feel good. All right, 74 tonight, late storms obviously moving in here as we speak. 86 tomorrow. I think things start to ramp up for what we consider the WCA3 viewing area in the next hour or so. So be kind of paying attention because I think soon Ford, Iroquois counties, more of DeWitt County, you guys are going to start to get on some of the warnings here. But so far, if history has anything to say, 80 to 100 mile an hour winds to our north and west over towards Peoria. So that could be heading in our direction. Big wind event setting up tonight.
We know that we'll be here at 10 o'clock and you'll be here well after that.
And we're streaming right now, still just kind of bouncing back and forth during the newscast.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Former President Trump's classified documents case was dismissed by a judge, while a CBS political analyst is saying he's incredibly lucky. Plus this. A week has passed and thousands are still left without power after a hurricane. Why the state's governor is demanding utility companies do something about it. Hey, how's it going?
To let you guys know about a severe thunderstorm warning, but there's something different about this warning that they have issued here, okay? So we are currently watching a line of storms that are rolling through portions of McLean, Logan County, heading into Livingston County right now. I know many of you, and let us know if we are on all of the channels here. If you guys can let me know once we're on all of the channels. We are streaming online. We are on WCIX, and we hopefully popping on WCIA here, as well as we have got a severe thunderstorm warning where many of you probably had your phones just go off here in the last few minutes. And that's because the National Weather Service issued a severe thunderstorm warning with basically a high-end destructive winds tag associated with it. And so what that means is they're thinking that potential for 80-mile-per-hour winds is possible, and they have gone ahead and included portions of Champaign County into that, all the way down to Douglas County, all the way down to Piatt County there, Macon County as well. And that means that anywhere in this severe thunderstorm warning area, we're talking destructive, high-end winds of 80 miles an hour as they dive to the south and east. Again, guys, can you let me know if we're on all the channels there? So again, this is a very serious situation with the high-end potential for these destructive winds. We're talking about, again, already reports north of Peoria where they actually had 100-mile-per-hour winds most recently, and that's why they have gone ahead and pulled the trigger on this new one. So again, why your phone went off? It's called a wireless emergency alert, and that went off because it's almost treating it like a tornado warning because of just how intense the winds can be and how widespread the potential is. Okay, I think we're on WCIA now. Is that correct? Okay. All right. So just to recap here, ladies and gentlemen, we are breaking into programming. Many of you watching us here probably just had your cell phones alert you. Sitting there, most likely the wireless emergency alert went off for where you are located. This is a rare situation to occur. The National Weather Service reserves these moments for severe thunderstorm warnings of the highest category, destructive winds of 80 miles an hour. A typical severe thunderstorm warning sits at 58 miles an hour. The potential here, 80-mile-an-hour winds. So they issue that. That also, in some towns, in some cities, in some villages, will also sound your outdoor warning sirens. So your sirens may be going off in certain areas out there. So that automatically kind of gets triggered when these high-end severe thunderstorm warnings. I know you're used to only having the outdoor warning sirens when there's a tornado. There is the possibility of tornado, but the reason that these are going off, why your phone went off, is because of the fact that the high-end criteria threshold has been met for having this high-end severe thunderstorm warning to come on here and get issued. So again, that's kind of what we're looking at here. Let's talk a little bit more and show you exactly where these storms are. Bloomington just got hit pretty hard. Hayworth coming into your area now. Farmer City, you need to be on the lookout. Gibson City also. Clinton, eventually down the line, Argenta, Monticello, way down the line, still Champaign. But these storms are moving at a really fast clip and diving to the south and east. You can see the movement. This is just moving over the past hour or so. We have had reports again of over 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts north of Peoria as these storms came in not too long ago. McLean, the town of McLean, reports of power lines down near the fire station, and a lot of power loss related to the winds that just came through near the McLean area. That is, again, obviously here in McLean County. So that's going to be right down here. That's McLean. That's along I-55, and right there where 55 and 136 intersect. And that's where they've got a lot of power lines that are down. So Atlanta now getting hit pretty hard. Wapella Clinton, you've got about another 5 or 10 minutes. The reason for this high-end severe thunderstorm warning, again, is because of the fact that we may have winds that are just as strong as what would be a weak tornado. A tornado, tornadic winds here, 80 miles an hour. Okay, so this is why we're taking this so seriously, why the Weather Service issued this high-end warning for that potential of these strong, damaging winds. We've already had very high calculated, high observed wind gusts with this. And so there's a huge area. I mean, I'm just going to kind of back this out so you can kind of see how large the severe thunderstorm warning is. This currently includes, well, let's count them up here. You've got Logan, you've got Macon County. They're not going to zoom it out even more. Include Moultrie County. You got Piatt County there. You've got DeWitt. You've got McLean. You've got Douglas. You've got Champaign, Ford, Iroquois, and okay, they've just upped this now to a tornado warning. Okay, so now a tornado warning right there along I-74. This is going to be coming right out of, let's see here, just north and west of Leroy. It's going to be right there near Downs. Rotation showing up right near Downs along I-74. And there is the potential for a tornado there between Downs, Leroy, Ellsworth, that area. You need to be taking shelter immediately there. What's happening is while this whole line has the potential for 80-mile-an-hour winds, we're going to get these little spin-ups occasionally. And it does look like that we're starting to see one of those develop there, right there near the Downs area, there along I-74, moving to the south and east, and going to be, there between Leroy, Ellsworth, Aerosmith, all of those areas there. Bellflower, Saybrook, you're in the warning area as well. But we're starting to get these quick spin-ups. They are sometimes difficult to pinpoint exactly, but we look for these little kind of what we call front-end nubs, these little notches that are in here, kind of protrude out just a little bit more. And so this is where some of that rotation is located, and quickly a tornado can form. And that's what we've got there now into southeastern portions of McLean County, a tornado warning that is in effect. And so this is going to be an area of concern, and this is going to be coming in potentially to, down the line. You're talking about northern Piatt, maybe Champaign, maybe Ford County there. So multifaceted event that we've got kind of going on right now. First off, really strong winds. And we can see the strong winds here when we kind of look at the velocities. And anytime we get into, you see these little brighter pink areas here. So now coming into the Wapella area, and then just kind of passing through Hayworth, there in Downs, there are those strong winds. So anywhere along there, you can have 60, 70, 80 mile an hour winds. But every once in a while, as we're kind of seeing in this area, a little bit of rotation. If you're traveling along I-74, know anybody along I-74 right now, you might want to give them a heads up. This storm is moving fast. It's got embedded rotation associated with it, and it is going to be coming in to southeastern McLean County and has the potential for a tornado. This is a very large area. I mean, as I mentioned, what did I name off there? 9 or 10 counties currently under a severe thunderstorm warning, but a severe thunderstorm warning of the highest criteria, of the highest that the National Weather Service ever decides to put a severe thunderstorm warning out as. They recently changed the way that they do some of these warnings, and basically they added in these wireless emergency alerts, the 80-mile-an-hour destructive winds. Sometimes it sounds your outdoor warning siren. Sometimes it obviously will trigger off of your phone there as well. Getting in some damage reports here. Just going to read some of this here. Looks like they're in Hartsburg into Logan County. They had several tree limbs that were blown down along Pine Street over that way. Also getting in, again, more of those reports back towards the Peoria area where they've gotten hit pretty hard there into Peoria. Fulton County back that way. A lot of trees and power lines down. Also getting reports again that, a lot of tornado sirens are going off. The Central Illinois Regional Airport in Bloomington at 9:18 p.m. had a 72 mile per hour wind gust. So the airport that's located kind of on the southeast side there of town had just recently had a 72 mile per hour wind gust, and that's kind of in the general area now where that severe thunderstorm warning is heading. So 72 miles an hour there. And there's the potential for a tornado. If you're in Leroy right now, Leroy's getting hit really hard. Okay, and you should be in your tornado safe spot there. If you're in Leroy, if you are probably just now passing downs is that rotation, but now coming into Leroy, see some really, really strong wind signatures coming in to the Leroy area. And this, again, is going to be riding right there along I-74 at this point and kind of diving to the south and east. So the wider view, because I know so many of you are asking, where's the potential for this to go? Here's the thing. Everyone is potentially under the gun for these winds at the very least of 60, 70, maybe upwards of 80 miles an hour. Everyone. But there are certain specific locations that may have these brief spin-ups that could occur where you could get tornadoes. So if you're watching us in pretty much anywhere, in Gibson City, in Sibley, in Saybrook, in Foosland, in Bellflower, Osmond, in Fisher, in Mahomet, in Mansfield, in Farmer City, in D-Land, Weldon, Lodge, Whiteheath, Monticello, Bonneville, Maroa, obviously Clinton, you guys just got hit really hard with some winds. All of you are under the gun for these damaging straight line winds. And then within that, possibly tornadoes to spin up. So, and it's quick where these little tornadoes decide to kind of just get going. It's a quick little thing that occurs. So right now near Leroy is where we are headed and where that potential is for that tornadic circulation to be at this time. So it's going to be not too long before we get some of that activity here to continue to kind of roll in to portions of Champaign County before too long. Okay, we're gonna jump over. We've got Jacob that's in the storm tracker here. So there is his camera view, and I believe he just passed through the Mansfield area. So let's kind of show you. So he's on I-74. He's going to be coming in there into Farmer City. It's going to be obviously probably north of his location right now. And he's going to try to get us a view there. Obviously, it's dark, it's nighttime, and there's maybe not a ton of lightning there, but he's going to try to get us a view. What's your exact location there, Jacob, and what are you seeing?
Hey, Kevin, I'm in the storm tracker. I'm 2 miles north of Mansfield now. I got off of the Mansfield exit. Don't want to get too close and run out of room to turn around. I can see where the notch is, where the bowing out part, where that rotation is. And it's about to my north and west at this location. I'm not sure if you're able to see much of the lightning on my shot or not, but there is quite a bit of it there. Very obvious where this circulation is. And so this is going to be a really dangerous situation. These storms are moving very fast, a lot of wind, and it's nighttime, Kevin. I do want to say this. My weather call went off, Kevin. I got notified for the warning at my home in Champaign-Urbana. I know folks probably have been getting that. The wireless emergency alerts have been going off as well. And I want to say this as well. Quite a bit of traffic on the interstate heading towards Bloomington Normal. You got to wait till these storms come on through. This is going to be a really nasty storm coming our way here. And what I'm probably going to do, Kevin, is move north a little bit more, try and get a beam field in front of me, see if we can get a little better vantage point. But very obvious where this fast-moving storm is and where that area of rotation is. So if we see any power flashes, anything like that, indicating something either down or strong winds, we will let you know, Kevin. Live north of Mansfield in the storm tracker, I'm Jacob Dickey. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, so again, now where Jacob is located here, so he's going to be up here north of Mansfield, and the rotation is going to be there, kind of, right there near Leroy, but this thing is starting to really pick up its kind of forward progression and speed on this here. So if you are near, kind of Bellflower, if you're along 136 here, okay, there's Watkins, Farmer City, okay, Bellflower over here. So if you're kind of north of Farmer City, between Leroy, Bellflower, that's kind of the area that we're watching. And they just updated the warning there. So again, you can kind of see right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back on some of the rotation with this. And so it's going to be kind of right here where that potential tornado is located. So south just south of Saybrook. It does include Bellflower here right now. If you are there along, and it's going to be just north of I-74. So where that tornadic circulation is just north of I-74, but some really, really strong winds associated with this as well. Even if there's not a tornado, you're talking about, Sabina there, north of Bellflower, tornado warning in effect. This is going to be east there of the Moraine View State Rec area, and continuing to move off here to the east. And so that is where the tornadic circulation is. That's where Jacob's going to keep watching things. But just to kind of give you this wide view, and I know you may look at this on radar and you may say, well, it doesn't look all that impressive. Well, maybe not so in terms of the precipitation, but what we are seeing are the winds within this storm really, really strong. And you've got some, 70-mile-an-hour gust anywhere along this line. And now Clinton, now Lincoln getting hit by this. And again, the tornado warning in effect here. And that tornado warning now kind of butts right up to northwestern Champaign County. So if you're in Fisher, just kind of, have that heads up here. Have that head on a swivel. Be situationally aware, be weather aware, and just know that that tornado warning, if it continues, would continue potentially into the Fisher area, potentially there, maybe north of Mahomet, and then down the line, maybe even Rantoul, southwestern portions of Ford County, near Fruitland. We're going to watch that. We've got to watch and see just kind of where this little area continues to develop as it moves off here to the east. Kind of southeast and east. It's kind of it's doing one of these kind of west to east with a slight southeasterly jog to it as well. So we're going to watch that entire area for the potential for a little tornadic circulation. Now, the Weather Service here continues to talk about these really strong winds. We're getting reports that Leroy has got high winds and debris blowing in town in Leroy. They are sounding the sirens, obviously, from that. So the sirens are going off there in Leroy, no surprise. And Jacob just texted me. He said that he thinks that the sirens are going off there in Gibson City now. So they possibly are sounding those there. As again, that rotation with that storm is going to be coming awfully close between Gibson City down to Fisher before too long. Osmond fighting that as well. But they went ahead and decided to sound those sirens with this kind of high-end severe thunderstorm warning. That's hitting all areas. We're talking about Farmer City now. The leading edge of that going to be coming in. DeWitt, Parnell, all of those locations there. Saybrook, Aerosmith, you need to be on the lookout. Sibley to Gibson City. It's on top of you in Colfax and Anchor, where those winds are already kicking up pretty good. But that's kind of the area of highest concern all along this. But then we've got this little embedded circulation that has the potential to produce a tornado. Jacob was kind of looking at it there. Listen, Farmer City, I think you're about to get hit by some fairly strong winds. Farmer City, between Farmer City and Bellflower, right there along 54. That's going to be, I think you're going to get hit pretty good if you live between Bellflower and Farmer City with the winds. Weldon as well, seeing some strong winds. And what I want to do is I'm just going to switch over to the velocity, kind of show what I mean. So when we get these kind of pinkish, almost even sometimes almost more of a beige color in there, those are strong winds. And so those are kicking up pretty good in that area of DeWitt County, southeastern McLean County. But look at this down here as well. As I just mentioned, west of Weldon, look at all of that color. Look at those brighter, kind of pinks and some of those beige colors in there. If we would say, hey, radar, I'd like to know what some of those wind speeds could correlate to, well, we can click on it and find out. And well, first off, you've got severe thunderstorm warnings obviously in effect here. And this is that high-end severe thunderstorm warning. But when we want to kind of just take a look at, what the wind speeds are doing within this, we can ask it to tell us how much those winds are. And so that's showing us 65-mile-an-hour winds. And that's going to be a little bit off the ground, just with the distance to the radar, but not by much. And so pretty easily you can translate that down to the surface. And I think that's probably happening. So Weldon, if you're watching us there right now, I have a feeling your winds are just starting to really kick up in that area. And then the same there probably between Farmer City to Bellflower, also finding those really strong winds as they move in. Maroa probably as well. Looks like that you have had those winds kick up just in the last few minutes there. Argenta, Cisco, you guys are going to be next. Okay, there's Argenta and Cisco along I-72. And eventually down the line, Monticello, be paying attention as that whole area has the potential to produce winds of 70, 80 miles an hour. Listen, I know if you're watching in Champaign and Tuscola, you're saying, okay, these storms aren't even close to us yet. They issued this warning, 15 minutes ago, and those storms are still a good distance away. That is the case, but they really wanted to get the word out maybe before people kind of went to bed. People start, go to bed around this time of the night here. And so they wanted people to be aware that this is kind of what is coming in our area. And that's precisely what we've got here across the region. Really strong wind event, history of producing 80 to 100 mile an hour winds to our north and west. And so they've got this high end severe thunderstorm warning that they went ahead and issued. And so we wanted to jump on here and let everybody know about it because, again, your phones are probably going off. Sirens are going off out there. And that's what we do here at WCA to kind of inform you guys of what's going on with these storms. So that's kind of the latest here as of right now. It looks like the tornado warning continues. We'll see if they decide to carry this any further to the east or not into Champaign County. No word from the Weather Service on what they're kind of deciding to do. They've had recent reports, again, of 72 mile an hour winds in Bloomington at the airport there recently. And I know if you're watching in Thomasboro and Whiteheath and Ivesdale, nothing's going on. Sarah Gorda, nothing's going on. Decatur, nothing's going on yet. But this whole line eventually is going to be moving in, and it's got a lot of wind energy. We're still in the mid 80s out there tonight. It still feels like 95 degrees when you factor in the humidity. It is muggy. So these storms can tap into all of that energy, and then these storms can fire off and translate some of that energy in the form of wind. Really strong winds down to the surface, and that's what's happened here. Lots of reports back towards the Peoria area of all kinds of damage, trees down, power lines down. And what happens with us here is we're kind of on a delay. You get on a delay in terms of some of those reports coming into us. Sometimes it can be a half hour, 45 minutes before we kind of hear what may have transpired. So we're on here. We're letting you guys know what is going on with these storms. And it looks like, let's see here. Okay, so the northern edge of this, they did continue the tornado warning up here. It's going to be in Kankakee County. And so I just want to jump over here because we haven't talked a ton about Iroquois County yet, but they've got tornado warnings up there, Kankakee. But obviously, we've got Clifton, Ashcombe, Danforth, Crescent City, Watseka, Onarga, Thawville, all of you that watch us up that way. That storm there, again, is something that we're going to have to be watching that whole line, because anywhere along this line, you could have those 60, 70, 80 mile an hour winds. And it does look like up near Piper City there, some really strong winds kind of coming up there near Piper City right now. And so right there near Chatsworth is where that is. And that is going to be an area, when we look at it on the velocity, you're going to see, again, kind of those brighter colors that show up. And that is indicative of those stronger winds coming into maybe the Thawville area here before too long. So strong winds there, Roberts, Thawville, coming into Onarga and Gilman as well. So lots of spots here. This, this is, like I said, multifaceted, large real estate, large viewing area being impacted by this. And so it's not being very selective. It is really kind of including everybody out there tonight. Will you get the damage? Will you get power outages? It's hard to say exactly. But again, with the history of this line, we've definitely had that throughout the course of this evening, just to the north and west, and just within the past half hour or so. So let's see here. Let's just kind of show you who is under the gun right now. Farmer City, it is on top of you. Those winds are probably rocking really good in Farmer City. They are rocking real good, probably coming into Weldon now. D-Land, you're going to get hit by this real soon. Those winds kicked up there. Again, Maroa, I'd be watching there in Argenta. Obviously, Bellflower and Gibson City now with that potential for severe thunderstorm warnings. Jason, what would you have there? Funnel. Okay, so Mount Pulaski, possibly a funnel cloud over there with the storms. So let's just kind of take you over there real quick, and then we'll hop out to Jacob. So potential funnel cloud over here near Mount Pulaski. It's going to be over here. Okay, this is in Logan County. And so maybe a funnel cloud over that area. And again, here's the nature of these storms. Really tough to kind of discern sometimes exactly on radar where that might be. But you kind of have to go by some of the spotter reports and what people are seeing out there near Mount Pulaski on 54, funnel cloud 1 mile north and moving to the east was the latest there. An intense line of storms moving in and continuing to dive to the south and east, and soon will be impacting Champaign and Piatt and Macon counties here before too long. I believe we've got Jacob back on the line. It looks like Jacob is going to be northwest of Osmond, probably south of Bellflower, maybe on 136 there. I don't know if we have him or not. We did just a few moments ago. Okay, so there's, we can't, his shot's really dark. Maybe, yeah, we'll three box that and then let him talk there. Jacob, what are you saying since your shot's kind of dark? Go ahead.
Yeah, Kevin, it's really dark. The shove cloud is now directly overhead of me. I'm due north of Mansfield on 136, and I'm about to turn around and ride east towards Fisher. The rain is a little bit behind us. The shove cloud is now kicking out a little ahead. Maybe to me, that's some optimism for the tornado threat, but the wind threat's going to be something that we'll experience here pretty quickly. I can still see some lights in the Farmer City area from my location. That's going to be off to the left over there. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of that. And but there have been plenty of lightning and plenty of strong winds reported with this earlier. And so just because I'm seeing some lights doesn't mean there haven't been power outages associated with this as it's moving on through. So we're going to watch this closely, Kevin. My plan is to turn back around. I'll check back in maybe in Fisher or whatnot, and we'll let you know. But the shove cloud now coming over, you'll see that coming into Champaign. You are going to see that, Kevin, on the cameras coming in. Folks will be peeking outside. That's the first thing you see, a big line of clouds coming on through. And so with that, Kevin, I'm going to send it back to you. I'm going to turn around and head back to the east on 136 to just southeast of Bellflower. I'm Jacob Dickey. Kevin, back to you.
All right, so we're going to continue to watch things there. We are going to just kind of do a little tour here of some of our weather cameras. That's Gibson City. It looks like, again, just kind of the position of where our camera is there. Obviously kind of dark here at night, not a ton of lights, but you're going to see the flashes of lightning that pop up there every now and again. So we'll continue to watch that. Probably not going to see a ton here in Champaign just yet, but let's switch over to our camera here in Champaign now. Okay, and so we're going to be, we're kind of looking off to the north, and so we'll kind of point this a little bit more to the north and west before too long. Actually, I think our camera that is down at the stadium is pointing to the north and west, and so we're going to watch that as it moves in. Probably not going to see the defined shelf cloud until it gets a little bit closer to us, but boy, I really think there are some strong winds probably coming into Mansfield now. If you are in Mansfield, I think that the winds are definitely going to be packing a punch there. When you look at it, I'm going to switch things over to our velocity on the radar again, because just by looking at it, I think in Mansfield, I think in Cisco right now, we've got a lot of winds. And so as I switch this over, you're going to see these bright pinks probably right here. So first off, we'll look at the Farmer City area where we've got that. And again, those are starting to come into Mansfield. And so we're getting those really strong winds there. And then also coming in from Weldon to Cisco, and eventually going to be coming into the Monticello area as well, and then along into Forsyth. So the leading edge of this, where these bright pinks are occurring, that's where your 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts are going to be, and that is literally happening here right now in places like Mansfield. Matter of fact, I'm going to switch over to just another radar product that I can use. And let's see here. Okay, so new tornado warning now is going to include Champaign County and Piatt County. So if you're now watching us here, Champaign, Piatt County, this includes Mahomet, it includes Bondville, it includes Whiteheath, it includes Lodge. Okay, and it's literally rolling through Mansfield right now. In terms of the wind, this barely clips kind of the western edge of Champaign County. So this is the warning area here, okay? And so this goes from essentially, again, there's Mansfield, Mahomet, Bondville, Whiteheath, D-Land, and just maybe barely kind of clipping the Monticello area here as well. So let's kind of just read up on some of this with the National Weather Service in terms of their tornado warning. They're saying a tornado warning for northern Piatt, southwestern Champaign County until 10:15. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over D-Land or 8 miles northwest of Monticello, moving to the east at 45 miles an hour. And the rotation is definitely shown on radar. Okay, so potential for a tornado there. If you are watching us in Whiteheath, in Bonneville, in Mahomet, I'm just going to say even kind of the Mansfield area there, because that's where we've got some really strong winds. Mahomet is next, a few minutes here, and Mahomet might be getting some stronger winds in that area there, and we're kind of seeing that on radar. Listen, D-Land, Whiteheath, Bonneville, any areas there, Lodge, along Highway 10, you need to be taking shelter. Okay, we've got a lot of wind energy here. Argenta and Cisco, you guys have got some really strong winds there associated with the storms. But Champaign County, western Champaign County, or tornado warning in effect. Pike County as well. So here's kind of another view of it. These are the areas. Okay, so there's Seymour there, barely kind of coming in to the west side of Champaign. But right now, rotation with this storm is going to be kind of hugging along Highway 10. Then eventually, where 72 kind of creeps up there, where they kind of come together. Okay, so anywhere between 10, 72 there, coming out of Monticello. That is the area of concern that we are definitely keeping a close eye on things. And so Jacob, who was up there, I believe, near Mansfield, is going to continue to kind of dive here to the south and east. But if you're watching us right now, the reason that we are on the air, we have tornado warnings that are in effect, and the potential for a tornado in the D-Land area, and then heading towards Whiteheath. If you're in Seymour, you need to be taking shelter right now, lowest level of your home. These storms can quickly spawn tornadoes. It doesn't take long, and next thing you know, you've got a tornado, and these are moving quick. Now they're moving at 45 miles per hour. So when we look at some of the rotation with our storms here, they have got such wind energy associated with them that they are producing not just the tornadic part, but widespread 60, 70, 80 mile an hour winds that could be occurring here. Getting reports of more wind damage coming out of the McLean area, a lot of outbuildings, garages that were blown down as the storms came through. It's kind of the history of these storms. And again, I'm seeing a lot of winds, a lot of wind possibly on the radar near Cisco and Argenta. You know, some really strong winds, probably literally knocking on the door to Mahomet now. I wouldn't be surprised to start hearing some reports coming in of some of these stronger winds just moving in here into Mahomet, Lodge, and the Whiteheath area as well. Tornado sirens potentially going off in a lot of areas here tonight. And we are keeping a very close eye on how all of this is evolving here this evening, as we've got so many areas. This is kind of unique. This is what's unique about this, is the fact that this isn't just one area. I've got 100 towns potentially right now that have severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings that are in effect. Okay, guys. So we've got tornado warnings out there, and I'm not sure what Jacob just said. If he can repeat that, we've got tornado warnings. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings. Clifton area, Iroquois County. Okay, we're going to take a look up there into Iroquois County. Looks like a tornado warning up that way now. Looks like some rotation there, and so near Clifton. So if you're watching us in extreme northern, this is what I go back to. Man, there are just so many storms here. That's Clifton. That's I-57. That's northern Iroquois County. That is now Martinton, Beaverville under that tornado warning. Donovan, technically, just barely hitting Ashcombe there. That is a new tornado warning in effect for Iroquois County. So we don't want to completely, we're not going to, forget you guys. We're going to keep checking back with you on all of that. And meteorologist Adam Sherwinski just came in. He's about 4 hours early for his shift, but coming in here for this tornado coverage. We've got Jacob out in the field in the storm tracker here with us tonight as tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings blanket the area here tonight. I mean, they are all over the place now. And now the biggest concern, again, coming into portions of Champaign County, heading into the Mahomet area as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back over to our other radar source that we have here, because I think it's doing a little bit better of a job of finding exactly where our storms are. Because I think, see these winds here? Okay, see where these strong winds are? These colors right here, indicating some 60-mile-an-hour winds there might be coming into Mahomet, Mansfield, and then back here towards Cisco and Argenta, finding those really strong winds. And that's what we're kind of looking at as these all kind of move to the south and east. Watch as I kind of put this into motion as those storms go south and east, and we're starting to get an expansion of some of the those colors there. The pinks, the brighter pinks indicate the stronger winds within the storm. And that's what we've got now into DeWitt, or I should say into Piatt County, and now coming into northwestern Champaign County. Those of you in Mahomet right now, you should be in your tornado safe spot. Really strong winds coming in. I'm being told that the sirens are going off in Mahomet now. Sirens off in Mahomet, which is no surprise as the tornado warning continues. Bondville, I think Bondville, definitely be on the lookout in that area there. Some really strong winds potentially kind of developing in that area, and it's going to be on top of you here before too long. Jacob tells me that he's getting hit by some pretty strong winds. Jacob, what's your location? Where are you at?
Hey, Kevin, I'm about 1.5 miles north of Mahomet now. The wind here, north-south roads, are going to be hammered by that west to east wind, and some of those gusts are really blowing me across. When it first hit, it shoved me halfway across the road there. I mean, it was an intense surge of wind, and there's going to be a while before maybe the worst of the wind gets here. And so, you get the shelf cloud coming and you get the wind, but the storm's got a lot of energy still further back into it. So, that first initial push of the wind is just the start of this year. Haven't seen any damage. There's a lot of sticks and limbs coming down, but I can see just to my west now some really intense rain about to hit me here. So we're going to come into Mahomet, and we're going to be here. And then I'm thinking about going east on 74 into Champaign. I'm not going to be able to make it down to the Seymour area to try and catch that. But we are certainly getting the wind here now in the Storm Tracker now coming into Mahomet. Live in the Storm Tracker, Kevin. I just lost my ClearCom signal, but I'll send it back to you.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot there. We are definitely getting those really strong winds there again, as Jacob just mentioned. So Jacob's he's right here. So there's Mahomet, his location. He's going to be coming into Mahomet here. As you can see, right here north of Mahomet, there he is kind of coming in. This is where the really, really strong winds are. I think. Okay, so he's talking about some power flashes there. I think potentially. Okay, let's see if we can't bring up Jacob there again. Potentially power flashes in Mahomet, potentially from the winds there. I believe so. You're going to be looking off to your west. There's you travel south on 47, right? Is that what you're looking at there?
Yeah, Kevin, it's going to be on the west side of Mahomet. A lot of power flashes. That's going to be towards where the school is, I think, on the west side, south and west side there. So big flashes just lighting up the sky over there. And so we're keeping an eye on that. We're not coming past Lake of the Woods here. The wind picking up even more. And so this is a sign when we see those power flashes. There's some more power flashes there. The electrical infrastructure is taking a hit from the strong winds, whether a tree hits a power line, something of that. That's one of the first signs that we have damage is seeing these power flashes. And we've got some there, looks like towards the west side of Mahomet. Kevin, I'm going to send it back to you.
Okay, yeah, some really strong winds there coming into Mahomet, seeing some rotation with that as well. If you're in Mahomet, hopefully you've already been down in your tornado safe space, your shelter, lowest level of your home. We've got strong winds there. He's seeing power flashes. He is in Mahomet. He's right there in 47. He's just getting ready to cross under I-74 now. He's coming into town. I think Bondville as well. I think Bondville is seeing some really strong winds now coming in to town as well. Adam is here with us. Adam, what have you seen here?
So the good news is I've seen that the National Weather Service is canceling that tornado warning. The bad news is, though, we still have these winds to continue that we've been talking about all night. And you can see that it's a wide swath of those severe thunderstorm warnings, again, stretching all the way out towards Decatur, north of Decatur, through Champaign County. And then we still have the tornado warnings up towards the north and northern Iroquois County going into northwest Indiana as well. So this is a wide swath. And we've been really focusing on Champaign right now. But again, we still have that possible tag that we're going to keep an eye on, plus the considerable damage too. 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts are the primary concern with these storms. So even though we're done talking about maybe seeing the tornado threat that's starting to loosen here a little bit here in Champaign County, that doesn't mean we're not done seeing the damage potential with these thunderstorms rolling in. Again, straight line winds are also a concern as well here. And again, with that TOR possible tag, that doesn't mean we couldn't see a few more warnings possible here. So again, keep that in mind, that these are storms that still have some bite. You're probably thinking, okay, well, we don't have a tornado warning anymore. It's still enough that it'll cause some issues here in central Illinois. So keep that in mind as we go throughout the rest of the evening, that we'll have these pop-up little spots of tornado warnings as this line comes through here, along with these straight line winds. So it's kind of a mess. A big old windbag, as I think is the best way of people have been describing the system here, Kevin.
Okay, thanks a lot, Adam. Appreciate the report there. Okay, so here's the thing, Muhammad. You just had some strong winds roll through. Just was messaging my wife and son, and they're in the basement right now, and I'm going to have them just kind of hold down there for a second or two. There's still some strong winds, but if you're in Bonneville right now, and I got to tell you, the radar signature here showing near Bonneville, those are some really strong winds there in Bonneville. I wouldn't be surprised if they're getting 60, 65 mile an hour winds over there. That's going to come into the southwest side of Champaign. Okay, that's going to come over there along I-57, Staley Road, Cardinal Road that way. I think you're really going to have some really strong winds there in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so coming into Western Champaign. If you're watching us here in Western Champaign, you're going to see those winds really kick up. I think they've kicked up there in Bonneville here. Let me see if I can't pull up our weather camera. Again, we're kind of looking at, it's dark here, but every once in a while we'll get a flash of lightning, and we're going to see kind of the leading edge of that shelf cloud as it comes in and shows the really strong winds. Just talked to Jennifer Roscoe. She it's kind of over there on the western side of town. Says that she's in the basement with her family down that way. The lights are flickering on and off over that way, and that lines up perfectly with what I think are really strong winds coming into Western Champaign right now. I think the winds are really going to be kicking up, and you're going to have 60 plus mile an hour winds between Bonneville right now and Champaign along Highway 10 and along I-72 coming into town right now. Those winds are really going to be picking up across the area. So let's take a look at it here when we show you the velocities on this. Again, right here is why. Look at this right here, these brighter pink colors. So you've got Staley there, Bonneville, the winds, and now coming into Western Champaign County, the strongest part of the winds are rolling across I-57 now. So at 57 and 72, right now, the strongest winds. And again, when we kind of look at it, when we want to ask the radar, okay, radar, can you sample for me how strong some of those winds are? And we can click on it, and that shows 66 miles an hour. So potential, 60, 65 mile an hour winds coming into the west side of Champaign and a large area. This is not isolated in nature. That's a large swath of winds that I think is coming into the west side of Champaign right now. So your lights may be flickering. I want to tell people that are watching us on television, if you lose power, we are streaming. We are on Facebook. We are on our WCIA weather app. We are on Twitter. We are streaming in a lot of locations, so you can take your phone with you and you can continue to watch our coverage if you lose power. So have your phone, your iPad, whatever you've got there, hopefully charged up and ready to go. You can continue to watch our coverage here. But for right now, really strong winds just passed through Mahomet. They're coming into Western Champaign County. Adam, have you heard any other reports or anything coming into us here lately? Go ahead.
Area, Kevin, but one we just got here for a thunderstorm wind gust of 51 miles per hour there at the airport in the Capitol Airport there in Sangamon County. We're getting some new alerts here for severe thunderstorm watches. There now have been issuing one for Christian, Clark, Coles, Crawford, Cumberland, Douglas, Edgar, Effingham, Jasper, Moultrie, Shelby counties for tonight. So again, now we have added that severe thunderstorm watch in place just south of our tornado watch, and we're continuing that tornado watch as we've seen. So now on top of that, to the south, we have seen kind of an expansion of watch, this time a severe thunderstorm watch, not a tornado watch. So
all right, it is straight up 10 o'clock right now. We are continuing our live severe weather coverage. Normally we'd obviously starting WC3 News at 10 o'clock. We're staying with the severe weather. We have got multiple areas that are literally under the gun, getting just hammered with severe weather. listen, I'm looking at some of these radar signatures, Bement, Cerro Gordo. There are some really strong winds here coming in. Mount Zion, all of these locations, 60, 70 mile an hour winds, I think, are easily being projected here on radar. And you guys in portions of Piatt County are getting hit hard there. Coming into the west side of Champaign County now, we're starting to see that with a severe thunderstorm warning. But these are high-end severe thunderstorm warnings where those winds could be upwards of, 80 miles an hour. I think they just recently backed off on that kind of high-end destructive tag, but I still think we're seeing 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. And I think that's happening here in Piatt County. I think we're getting a lot of it there in Bement right now. I think the winds are blowing really strong. Ivesdale, I think you're next. Okay, there's Ivesdale, Sedoras. Be interesting to see what Willard Airport clocks on their wind gusts with their anemometer here before too long. Hammond, you're about to get hit really hard, but these strong winds, these winds are they're getting pulled down to the surface. A ton of energy. You know how muggy and how humid and just how, much moisture has been out there today. Well, now we're wringing it out. We're getting a ton of it, and these storms are tapping into that wind energy that's going to come funneling down to the ground. We're going to get these strong downdraft winds, and they're going to produce severe wind gusts with damage here coming into the area. Let's see. I'm going to try to pull up our weather camera here and see what we can see, because right now those winds are just starting to come in. I got a feeling that our camera is going to start to be shaking a little bit, and that's our camera actually at Memorial Stadium. So now some really strong winds are beginning to pick up across the area. That's our camera at Memorial. And now I'm going to switch over to our camera here at the studio, and even it's moving around at a pretty good clip out there as well. And again, I think I just heard somebody kind of coming in the back door, or maybe the wind might have caught him out there. The winds are starting to pick up here in Champaign. You can see on the right side of your screen is our weather garden shot that has a camera. And you can see kind of, the tree out there kind of waving around pretty good. So now in Champaign, we're seeing those winds. Adam, keep an eye on power outage reports, and may have you do something with those coming up here in a little bit, because I'll just be curious as what we're seeing there. I know Jacob is coming through Bonneville right now, and so he's coming to, okay, wow, there's a good little lightning strike there off to the north and west. That was the wind. Okay, that was the wind. I think somebody's coming in our back door. The wind caught the door out there. I heard a crashing sound out there. So we're seeing strong winds, Bement coming into Ivesdale. If you're watching us in Sedoras, Tolono, Savoy, Philo, St. Joe, you guys are all kind of next to get hit by these really strong winds. Let's see here. Royal kind of down the line. These winds are really still packing a punch out there. And you can see that our camera is shaking around. And that's exactly what these storms have had a history of doing. We'll have to kind of wait and see just, what kind of reports come into us as far as any damage goes. But I think between Bonneville, Champaign, Savoy right now, strong winds, or Cerro Gordo, Bement, and now Ivesdale finding the winds as well. Adam?
Decatur just had a wind gust report there of about 52 miles per hour there. So within a thunderstorm. So we're already seeing these strong gusty winds. 52, yes, that's sub-severe, but that's still pretty strong and gusty too. So keep that in mind. And we've already started to see a little bit more of the severe threat kind of continue on. Here's a quick look out there at our severe thunderstorm watches there, and our severe watches period. We just had up there a tornado watch until 1 a.m. We've been talking about that until 1 a.m. That's been the tornado watch we've had for a while now, but now that new severe thunderstorm watch until 4 a.m. So now we're also seeing that severe threat now move southward here. They're already starting to think down to the south there towards Coles, Douglas, Cumberland, Clark, Crawford, Jasper, Effingham County, those counties in purple. That's our next target when these storms start to move southward here. And earlier this morning, that was the thought that further south where the tornado threat would still be there, but a little bit smaller. Now we're starting to see that the wind threat is still going to be a continuation, not just for where we're seeing that tornado watch, but also further to the south as well here. So again, now we've got to add more of our counties here as we go forward in time here. So keep that in mind. It's going to be a little bit more of a long night, Kevin. Back to you.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. So here we are. Severe thunderstorm warnings continue. I'm going to just go back up here into Iroquois County because we were looking earlier up near the Clifton area where they had that tornado warning up there near Martinton as well. And so there are a lot of storms up that way. Still some really strong winds kind of rolling through. That is again in northern portions of Iroquois County where the tornado warning is actually still in effect here right now. We have got some really strong winds coming in to Champaign right now. Let's pull Jacob's camera up there. I believe he is coming in. Let's see. Is he coming in on 10? I can't quite kind of see. He's coming up to the interstate there. Heavy rainfall. Oh, he's coming up to I-57. Okay, so he's getting on I-57 starting to head south. So you can see the heavy rain and the winds that are just kind of coming in to his location there. So he's going to be getting on 57 south and going to be running along where those winds are really strong coming into town now. And you're probably going to shoot down towards Pasodum as those storms come towards Sodorus and Pasodum here before too long. So we'll let him continue to get in position and then check in back with him here in just a little bit. But right now, if you're watching us in St. Joe, Sydney, Tolono, all of you are under this severe thunderstorm warning where the potential is there for really strong winds, 70 miles per hour. We've had a history of reporting that. Just got to report that there are 2,200 customers in Macon County without power. That's just one of them there. So we're going to gather in some more of these reports. As you can see there, sorry about that. We're going to gather in more of these reports, and we're going to continue to update you on any of the power outages that are slowly trickling in. It takes a while, but
got one there from Kevin from the EMA there in Macon County. Report of 2,200 without power in Macon County right now.
Yep.
From Ameren. So.
Yep. So Ameren there, 2,200 without power, as we mentioned there. Really strong winds still kind of coming through Champaign, Savoy now. I will be keeping a close eye on what the Willard Airport will clock in terms of their wind gusts, and that will tell us kind of a lot about the storm here and what it's still doing, because obviously they've got a nice anemometer down there, and it's going to tell us exactly just how strong those winds are. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for Coles and Edgar and Vermilion and the rest of Champaign County. So a huge area now with severe thunderstorm warnings. And so now you're talking about warnings from Ford, Iroquois, Champaign, Vermilion, Edgar, Douglas, Coles, Moultrie, Piatt, Macon, DeWitt, and McLean counties. It's about 60% of our viewing area currently under some type of a warning. Okay, so there's a lot of you out there watching from a lot of different locations, kind of wondering what's going on out there for us here tonight. And here's the thing, there's a ton of wind. I'll be curious to hear about any reports between Cerro Gordo, Bement, Hammond County, Atwood. If you guys can sift through any reports, even on our streams or anything, see what some people are saying. I'm just curious. The radar signature down there has been really impressive in terms of the winds. So I'm curious what kind of winds they may be clocking down that way, because it just seems like portions of Piatt County down there between Hammond and Atwood and Cerro Gordo, Bement, it just seems like you guys have had a lot of wind down there. So I'm really curious as to what you guys may be clocking. So I'm going to have our team kind of be looking in the chat there, maybe potentially some of the newsroom, start to make any phone calls out there to let us know what you're seeing in your general area. Jacob's continuing to travel down I-57. He is going to be in the midst of those heavy winds and rain. So he's, I'm going to move the map back over here for us, just kind of show you his location. And so he just got on 57. And so he's going to be right about here, just probably west of Willard Airport here before too long, and continue to dive to the south. Right now, Pasodum, you guys haven't seen those strong winds just yet, but you're talking about Sodorus. You're getting hit right now. Tolona's about to get hit. Then Pasodum and traveling down I-57. And we'll continue to see those really strong winds where that new severe thunderstorm warning is in effect, and literally includes, like I said, we've got like 10 counties under warnings right now. So Tuscola and Newman, Hugo, Arcola, Arthur, Humboldt, all of you have severe thunderstorm warnings now with the latest that have just kind of moved through. That tornado warning that was in effect for far northeastern Iroquois County, I'm trying to bounce between all of you guys because we've got so many areas here that have warnings. This is the sliver of what is left over Donovan of a tornado warning up that way. Okay, and so if you're there in Donovan, there's still that potential for a little bit of rotation. It's going to be kind of south of Beaverville and right there and along 52. Just north of Iroquois, that is the corner, the far northeast corner of our viewing area where the potential tornado is still located up that way. definitely some strong winds, I think, coming into the Milford, definitely down towards Wellington. We're seeing some of that when I switch things back over to the velocity for that area. So this is what we're talking about. See these brighter colors again. You get over here, Cessna Park and Milford, just a ton of wind energy, potentially getting kind of translated down to the ground and down to the surface at this time. And that's kind of what we're looking at. So here's the wide view. Let's put this wide view, let's put the loop on it, and let's track it to the south and east to kind of give you an idea, because soon places like Danville and Ogden down the line in Georgetown and Chrisman, you guys are going to be hit by this line soon as well, and may have that same potential for similar wind risks with this as they move through the area. So that is kind of the big thing here. Can we go unscathed here from any more tornado warnings? It's tough to say at this point. Definitely looking more like wind than anything. Not seeing any defined areas of specific rotation, more just pockets of really heavy rains and winds, and attention may turn to some flooding potential out there. Some of these areas, if we get some back building of these storms back out to the west. Still seeing some development possibly back there into Sangamon County, Illiopolis, and then maybe into northern Christian County. There you can see some of those red colors picking up a little bit more. What's interesting about this too, just kind of give you guys an idea, you're going to first get the winds. You're going to get winds even before it starts raining a lot of times. You get this big gust of wind. It'll last for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, really strong winds there. And then sometimes the rain kind of lags behind a little bit. You definitely get the strong winds out on the leading edge of all of this well before any of the rain even begins. So sometimes that can be kind of deceiving there. So just know that you will get the winds before the rain in terms of this system here. Adam?
I got some video from Brandon. He was just outside, and you can tell he was outside. His hair was a little windswept, but there are the trees out there over on Max. If we could turn it over there real quick. There's the trees out there just outside of the public library right next door to us, and those trees are really shaking. Again, I saw Brandon's hair. He looked like he had definitely been outside just a minute ago. Also got a report there from some family there in Mahama. We had a power surge off the house. So again, there has been some flickers out there. And again, we've also been talking about, we have to check in on those numbers for power outages. As mentioned before, Macon County, over 2,200 people roughly around that spot already have lost some power here. So again, we're going to keep those tallies going, but I can see that with these strong winds, it wouldn't be surprising if we got some more here very soon. So back over to you, Kevin.
All right, yeah, there's a shot there. It's always early when the storms are coming in here to the studio. You can see the winds. It wasn't raining at the time, right? It's out there shooting, and it wasn't raining. You had the wind first, and we're just now starting to get the rain here at the studio. Just got a report there, as I was mentioning, about Bement. They had a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, and now in Mount Zion, reports of some tree limbs, broken shingles blown off in Mount Zion in southeastern Macon County here. And boy, you can really kind of hear the winds picking up here and the rains picking up. As a matter of fact, here's what I can do. Let me pull up our Neal Street camera here. And again, you can see kind of the rain bands there really kicking through, really blowing those rain bands across the area. And yeah, there you go right there. You can see very little traffic out there right now. Probably not a ton of people wanting to be out driving in this, but you can see things kind of blowing around just off there. You can see the little bushes that are just across our way, but you can see how strong those winds are. And then our camera keeps freezing up here, which usually does a good job of keeping its connection. So hopefully it stays with us, but that's kind of what we're seeing here now. So you get the winds, and then you get the rain, and things really start to kick up there. And this whole area now, I think we're starting to see some of these winds that have been up just above the ground start to get translating back down in a large area. Savoy, Tolono, coming into Philo now. I think we're really getting all of that wind energy starting to just kind of get let go.
We had a report there from our Jason relayed to me over there from our chat that we have some power lines down here in Champaign. Didn't give a specific spot, but something to keep an eye out for if you're traveling for this evening heading home.
Okay, so we're getting again, maybe even it sounds like hail. It sounds like a little bit of hail. I don't know if it's hail, just how hard the wind is kind of blowing the raindrops out there. But you can see, wow. And again, people coming up there. That's Neal Street here, Neal and Green, and again, as you can see, those really strong winds kind of rolling through. Again, anywhere from Savoy, Tolono, Philo now. Winds all the way back to Hammond and Atwood are really strong at this time. It's getting pretty wild down towards Savoy, I'm being told right now, as far as the winds go. And we're seeing that here at the studio. Really strong winds now with the heavier rain that is kicking in. Let me see if I can't. We'll go from on the ground to up above with our camera. I bet it's shaking around pretty good. We can, yeah, we see it there. Okay, so there's the camera view from our tower up above here in Champaign. Again, really heavy rainfall and those winds kicking in. Severe thunderstorm warnings for a huge area out there. And a lot of these reports continue to just come streaming into us of what we have seen. Just got a report from one of our coworkers here. Again, he said he's down in Savoy, and he says it's really windy out there right now. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for Champaign, Coles, Douglas, Macon, Moultrie, Piatt, and Vermilion counties with the potential for 70-mile-an-hour winds. And boy, it's continuing to come down here at the studio as well. The tornado watch is also in effect here through 1 a.m., as you can see, but there's a severe thunderstorm watch until 4 a.m. So we've got a lot of spots here that are still looking for several more hours, and these storms are going to kind of backbuild a little bit more and may continue to produce some issues out there here tonight. A lot of winds. I'm getting reports in here actually from my own insurance agent, and he's in Mahomet. He said didn't look like any hail there, but really windy, real good downpour in Mahomet. So that's some good news there, at least initially. I have not heard of any specific reports of damage there. I, as you mentioned there, possibly some power lines that are down. Be curious to check out power outages here soon. And if anybody wants to let me know about what any of those power outages are like from some of the power cooperatives out there in Ameren. Jacob is down in the storm tracking, so we haven't heard from him for a second. So I'm gonna let Jacob take it because he's now in kind of the rain-free area down there in Pasodum. So what I'm going to do is kind of show you where he's at on radar first. Okay, there's Champaign. Well, actually, it looks like he's just starting to get into some of that rain now. But he's in Pasodum and probably has some really strong winds down that way. Starting to come in there. Jacob, what do you got?
Yeah, hey, Kevin, we're at the rest stop there by Pasodum, and we're moving to the south. We were able to finally get ahead of the storms and get ahead of it there. I'm getting some gusts of wind. I think the wind probably was a little stronger in the rain, but there's still some gust here now with some light rain, and so we're pushing off to the south, and we'll probably get off at the Pasodum exit. I do want to ask a question, kind of maybe some thoughts in the direction I should head. Kevin, whether I should keep going down to Tuscola, go east on 36, or maybe loop back into Champaign. I saw a few reports of some power outages in the Lincoln Square Mall area, so just let me know what you'd like to do here. Now back into one of those pockets of rain as the leading edge and I are fighting for the lead here. A lot of semis pulled over on the side here. I tell you, that's one thing. To me, traffic has been a lot less on the interstate here, and I think folks got those alerts in their phones, and a lot of the semi-traffic was able to get off. Those wireless emergency alerts are great ways to reach people who are traveling on interstates. I've seen a lot of semis pulled off at the exits as well, so that's some good news. When they're stopped, they're less prone to being blown around by those strong winds, Kevin. Kevin, up here to the exit for Pasodum, Kevin, I will send it back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Jacob. Appreciate the report there. So there he is, right there down near Pasodum. Just getting a chance to go through some of my messages in my inbox. I'm just going to read off some of the things here. First of all, I'm being told that the sirens are going off in Catlin, but there's obviously nothing there right now. But if the sirens are going off again, there are different protocols. Every city, town, village, county, they all have a different way of doing things. But possibly the sirens going off there, Catlin. So just kind of be aware. Let's see here. Got a report that a transformer blew near Centennial High School, Kenwood area, and no power. Adam?
You want some numbers there, Kevin?
And yeah, go ahead and Adam, fire off some of the numbers that you're hearing about some power outages.
So we're seeing here for Champaign County, Ameren, we've got 93,000 tracked, 956 customers out for Ameren there, and about the Eastern Illini Electric Cooperative, 3 out there. Going over to Macon County there, we have Ameren, 2,586 out, 35 there for the Shelby Electric Cooperative there. And then as we go into Logan County, Ameren, about 798 people out without power there from Ameren, and then from Ameren customers there in McLean County, 3,056 there. And then from the Corn Belt Energy Co-op, 2,181. So we're seeing a lot more power outages there. I would say if you look at the broad map of Illinois, a lot of it's starting to move slowly to the east here, and we'll see probably more here very soon. But over time, we're seeing more and more kick up here. Again, another check of Livingston County there, about 950 people out from Ameren customers. Then the Commonwealth Edison Company, 1,029. 10 from the Eastern Illini Co-op there in Livingston County. So we've got a lot of people starting to see more of those numbers pick up here. And as you mentioned, that transformer kind of got me thinking about that. So we could see some more here very soon. Back over to you, Kevin.
All right, yeah, a lot of outages and still just kind of rolling in here as well. Seth just pointed out to me that Willard Airport had a 62-mile-per-hour wind gust when it came through. So they hit 62 in Willard, south side of town, Savoy. And so that's still showing that this whole area has got a lot of wind still to work with. So Tolono, Philo, Broadlands, Homer, Villa Grove, Tuscola, all of you, Lovington, Arthur, all of those locations still finding some really strong winds as the storms dive to the south and east and still impact the area. They are cutting back some of the tornado watch box area a little bit, which is some good news, and that's probably going to be across parts of northern northwestern. Looks like they dropped Livingston and Ford out of that. And so they'll start to kind of cut away some areas while you guys are still dealing with, a little bit of rain and some storms up there. At least as of right now, they're allowing for that tornado watch up into Ford and Livingston County to go away. Biggest threat area right now is going to be southeastern Champaign County, western portions of Vermilion County there, heading into Douglas, heading into Edgar County, as this whole line continues to dive to the south and east. What we want to continue to look out for are potentially little areas along this line where we may have, some spots where some rotation could occur. And so that's kind of the one thing that we're going to be watching for as we go throughout the rest of tonight are these additional warnings that could get issued as a result of these little spin ups where you get just enough energy, enough rotation, and the tornadoes can kind of form out of this. But definitely some really heavy rainfall. We're getting that kind of building back towards Decatur into Macon County there as well. Karina is coming in here, has got a report for us.
Some average outage numbers. Right now, it looks like the most we're seeing is Macon with 3,255. McLean also has over 3,000. Sangamon with 75 customers without service. Livingston has 950. Iroquois at 42. And DeWitt with 112 customers without service.
And those are all Ameren related?
All
Ameren. Okay, so all Ameren there. Obviously, we know there are some other power companies out there, but obviously they're one of the main ones that we've got. Okay, just got a report that there might be a semi that rolled over on I-74 east of Champaign. So east of Champaign, I-74, where a semi is flipped over. So just got a report of that coming into us here. Again, a lot of reports. If you've got anything that you've heard of, if you've got something in your area, let us know. You can send us an email, news@wca.com, weather@wca.com. My Facebook page is any of that possible for any of your reports.
Our intern Jason just relayed to me that there's been reports there from our chat that St. Joe might be out of power here. A lot of spots in St. Joe out of power. So again, they're starting to see those strong winds come through. No surprises there.
No surprises. Being told sirens going off in Danville, sirens going off in Ridge Farm as well. So again, a lot of sirens still going off here tonight. People that are telling us about. And no surprise, again, everybody's got a different protocol of how they do things, but and we've got a lot of people out there possibly worried tonight on what's happening in their area. I can tell you this, no one kind of is out of the woods here, so to speak, unless you're kind of back into, let's say, McLean County, parts of Ford County there, Logan County. Lots of Piatt, Moultrie, Douglas, Coles, Edgar, Vermilion County still under the gun, still finding some strong winds moving through. So that's precisely where we have the map trained on right now. And I'm gonna have to start keeping a close eye. When you start to see some of these little areas here start to kick up a little bit more in intensity and kind of have a little bit of definition to them. Not always something that we like to see, because sometimes that can be some rotation there. Reports that in Champaign County, almost 2,000 customers are without power in Champaign County, and that number possibly growing. And some of those could be over there towards the St. Joe area as the storms continue to roll through. Again, it's kind of interesting to get a radar signature like this in terms of, so normally what we'd have would be little pockets of, this color here, this beige color. But we've got, this huge area here, and there's huge area here in Champaign County, and there's more of that. And that's where you've got 60-mile-an-hour winds anytime you get kind of that color there. And there are pockets of that everywhere along here. This is such a huge area to find that much wind, and it's not isolated. A lot of times with the warning and these gusty winds, there's going to be a specific little spot where you could have severe winds. Well, that entire warning box might have severe winds of 60 miles an hour with it. It really is a remarkable kind of view of how much wind energy is out there tonight, because we don't typically see that much. And you don't typically see it with, radar signatures like this in terms of, the reflectivity that doesn't look as strong. I will say this, I keep wanting to look at these areas. Whenever I start to see a little bit of an uptick in the reflectivity here, we're going to have to watch these, especially on the leading edge of things, because sometimes some of that rotation can kick up a little bit. If you're watching us over in Danville right now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to switch over to our camera in Danville, because we're going to have probably a pretty good view just out to the west as the storms come through. So there's Champaign, and then there's a look at Danville. Nothing in your area just yet, but things are going to start to kick up here soon.
Quick report there, Kevin, for you. We've got one that there is a tree blocking Route 54 there in Cortland and Logan County. So that's, I know, not really one of our big spots there in Logan County, but something to keep in mind if you're traveling on Route 54 heading home. Again, tree down blocking Route 54 there, just around Cornland there. So keep that in mind. And now I'm seeing a lot of updates from the National Weather Service. They're continuing some spots and canceling others for the tornado watch here. So some good news there. We're starting to see more of those cancellations start to pick up a little bit more here. Back to you.
All right, so yeah, that's right. Some of the tornado watch counties have been dropped, and you can see now Logan, McLean, Ford, Livingston, Cass, Menard, they've dropped. So we're still not quite, if you still have a county highlighted right now, you're not out of the woods just yet. So I would still kind of be paying attention to the weather here tonight. But for areas basically in that highlighted color, whether it's the yellow color or the pink color there, either one, you still have that risk. But more north and west you go, the better off you're going to be. I still think that a lot of Vermilion, all of Edgar, portions of Douglas and Coles, still under the gun here as we go throughout the next few hours or so as this whole line dives to the south and east. I don't know if Brandon or Karina were back there, but I just wanted to see if any of them could call on that or that potential semi rollover on I-74 there east of Champaign, just get any confirmations on that. If that did occur, I don't know if they're back there in the newsroom efforting any of that information for us, but I'd be curious to know what we're hearing about that. I'm not sure if maybe we can pull up a traffic map over there and kind of see if traffic is slowed down there on I-74 or not, but potentially a semi that had rolled over and probably due to the wind. Jacob was recently down in the Tolono area. He's continuing to dive to the south. I'll be curious to see, what he may be finding as he travels along his way. Or it looks like he's turned around and he's going back. It looks like he's coming back to the north, and we're going to see if he has any damage or finds any damage out there. I'm going through my inbox here. Many of you sending in messages. Let's see here. Sirens going off in Potomac. Again, we're getting a ton of these from a lot of locations they're saying, hey, we've got sirens going off. What's going on? I just got a report that Sydney just lost power. So Sydney lost power, and it does look like that we're continuing. Okay, so I'm seeing some video come into me here of some power flashes from earlier in, I believe, portions there of of Champaign County, or actually in Champaign. Let me read this here just a second. Looks like recorded video in Southwest Champaign of some power flashes. We'll try to get that turned around for you guys so you can kind of see it. No surprise with all of the wind that's coming through. Again, I'd be real curious to hear from many of our friends, maybe in Atwood or Bement, Hammond area, Arthur, Tuscola. What are you guys seeing there? Any power outages, any trees down? You can send over any of those reports to us via our email if you have them. Let us know what you're seeing tonight. Scary looking clouds, a lot of wind, we know for sure, and a lot of power outages coming into us. Some trees down. Against reports of a tree down there in Monticello. As the storms came through, real strong line, an intense line of storms. Those shelf clouds that to move through the area, which you see there on the right side of your screen is Jacob, who's traveling there in Champaign County. We are continuing to monitor things. If you are in Champaign, you're getting close here to being okay. I really think that some of the strongest stuff is going to be in kind of the southeastern portion of Champaign County. Still St. Joe, Sidney, Philo, Tolono. Things are looking better up towards the Fisher and Mahomet areas here tonight. Jacob might have some info. Looks like are you on 45 there, Jacob? What are you hearing right now?
Yeah, Kevin, we're coming back north into Savoy now on 45. We opted to turn back north here. Do you have some information? I've heard some reports from Pontiac of there's quite a bit of tree damage in the west side of town there. And then some other reports of some power lines down across Champaign County. It seems like they're more sporadic, not a widespread thing, which is good news that we were able to get these storms to move through and not have a widespread wind event. But certainly there are some pockets of some areas that are having some power outages. Also further to the north, I-55 in Will County near Shanahan, up there by 55 and 80, completely shut down by the oil refineries. There's big power lines down in the road up there. They really got rocked up north in Chicago from the line of the storm. I did get some reports of power lines and power outages in Iroquois County. I had one from the Milford area, had another up towards the Clifton area, and so they've had some damage up that way. But so far, from what I've been able to tell, Kevin, is perhaps we've overall scathed through without major problems. That doesn't mean that can't still happen, but we are going to investigate a couple of reports of some trees on houses in Champaign-Urbana and some different things like that, some transformers that have maybe been blown down. So we'll be kind of moving through town, give you a report if we find stuff here in Champaign-Urbana. And then also, Kevin, if you get any information on that semi on 74, let me know. I can head that way as well. Live in the Storm Tracker, heading north into Savoy. I'm Jacob Dickey. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Looks like potentially that semi rollover might be closer to St. Joe on I-74. From a pretty good source, I'm hearing that again that semi rollover is on the is east of Champaign, but maybe closer to St. Joe. So a little info there for you, Jacob, if that's something you would like to try to explore. I do have some good news. Let me pull up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just briefly shut off all of the radar stuff and just show you the warnings. So when you look at this, while you're still getting heavy rainfall, these are the warnings. If you are watching us in Champaign, okay, Champaign County, if you're watching us there into Piatt County, you guys are looking a lot better, okay, in terms of the severe weather threat, and hopefully we're getting close to letting you guys possibly call the all clear and call it good for you guys. But definitely the warnings are not in effect. They're for Champaign or Piatt County anymore. You can see the outline of where the warnings are, and it's Vermilion, it's Edgar County, it's Eastern Douglas, and it's Coles County now, okay? So that's where we've got warnings. Kind of give you just the wide view of the state. Now you can see flash flood warnings in the green, orange or severe thunderstorm, and then tornado warnings actually up in northern Indiana. So that's the latest on the warnings that we've got in effect. But I still think these areas here we've got to watch into Coles and Edgar and Moultrie and Shelby counties, Christian County. We're going to be keeping a close eye on as all of these storms dive to the south and east. So several reports again of tornadic, or I should say of a severe thunderstorm winds, maybe some spin up tornadoes that are still possible. As a matter of fact, I just want to this is exactly what I'm talking about here. You can see down here into southeastern Douglas County near Oakland, and a little stronger radar signature that's starting to kick up there. These storms, can really go through an evolution of how they kind of develop here. So we'll be watching down that way. I think Arcola, Humboldt, all of you guys, Hinesboro, are going to be getting some decent wins as that line moves in there, and probably similar to what others have been experiencing tonight with some 50 and 60 mile an hour winds. So Edgar County, if you're watching us in Paris and Crispin and Redmond and Ashmore, all of you should be on the lookout here as the storms move to the south and east. I'll quick kick back over to our camera that is in Danville now, that is showing how those storms are evolving. And you can see some of the heavy rainfall there, maybe some of the winds. You can see some of the trees that are blowing around a little bit down that way. You guys are under that severe thunderstorm warning right now. Looks like, what we've got here is just that large area where we might have 60 mile an hour winds. I'm not seeing anything above, like a 70 here for a while. Again, Willard had that 62 mile an hour gust not too long ago, but I've not seen anything since kind of back towards the Bloomington area. There was 72 miles an hour back in the Bloomington area earlier. I'm getting some emails here. It meant that they had the power that flickered a few times, but it came back on. So that's some good news. And the winds have calmed down back that way. Getting some reports here again of possibly some trees down and some power outages that continue to kind of stream into us here. And what I can do is I'm gonna pull up a power outage, what we call the power outage map here from poweroutage.us. And so bear with me for a second, and we'll give you guys kind of a better idea of maybe of what counties right now have some power issues. And so let's look at it here. We've got obviously Illinois, the state is red, so we can click on that. And then now you can see all the different counties here. And then you get into these oranges and these reds. Look up there towards Marshall County. Boy, that's 5,000, 50 or 5,400 without. You get into Livingston County, it's like 1984. McLean County there has actually got 5,000 as well. Now, we get over into Logan County, maybe 886, 112 there in DeWitt. And looks like only 67 there in Piatt, but 2,326 in Champaign County. And a lot of that is going to be from Ameren. So what we'll do here, we want to come over, we're going to go to Ameren. We're going to go to their outage site here for the state. And you kind of come in here and zoom in. You can see all these little, basically all these little dots here, these little circles are going to be where they've got some power outages. And they're look how sporadic they are. Okay, you've got, here's one. We get into Champaign. We've got, got a few more there south of Bonneville. Whenever you get kind of that blue color there, that's 66 customers, 86 customers. So you get a few more down that way. But these little ones here that are just green dots, that's usually one customer, a couple customers, some lower amounts. Looks like maybe they're on the east side of town, Urbana, over there, 66 customers over there. So they all start to add up, and you add them all up. But just look how many areas here where there have been outages as you go even more to the north and west. And so you can probably anticipate to have similar things eventually there to Edgar County, eventually back there into Coles County as well. So Adam, what do you got?
Here, if we go to Max 1 real quick, this is from Monticello here. There you go. You can see from Jill, you can see a tree down. Looks like some water out there as well. It kind of looks in the background. I'm not sure if it's a pool or a pond or something, but something to keep an eye out for. And this is from Muhammad earlier, kind of a scary looking cloud, as we call them, a shelf cloud moving into town here. And we've heard a lot of rainfall there in town, some roads flooded. Not sure which ones in Muhammad, but be mindful of that, though, as you're moving from Champaign going into Muhammad, or if you're just traveling around town, maybe going out and doing something real quick, maybe want to stay home. But we've also got some video power flashes I'm working on, getting into a graphic right now. Some scary pictures that we've had so far for today. And they also, again, we're still watching for those strong winds too, but yeah, it's quite a scary little sight to see. I think I saw that coming in this morning during our first round of storms earlier today. Back over to you, Kevin.
All right. Thanks a lot for those pictures. Were you able to turn around that power flash video yet? Working on that? Okay, very good. All right, so severe thunderstorm warnings continuing out there. If you're watching us in Vermilion County, in Edgar County, and Coles County, we're still going to stay here with you. It's now 10:39 p.m. with this line of storms that rolling through the area and moving here to the south and to the east as those warnings are still in effect. Still, I just want to watch and make sure that we don't have any other redevelopment here back, to the west of this line here, but something that we're going to be keeping a close eye on here through the rest of tonight. We may have some redevelopment of storms as we head into the day tomorrow as well, so kind of keep that in mind. It does look like I'm watching Jacob's camera here, and it seems like he might be in a part of town where there might be some outages. It just looks kind of dark. I can't tell if it's just because of it's nighttime, obviously, or the area is that, but it looked like it was kind of dark wherever he is located over in his neck of the woods, and he said that we're going to possibly be checking in there with him here in just a little bit. Just seems like a lot of the houses are kind of dark right now. I know it's 10:40 at night, but we'll continue to monitor him, and he'll let us know if he's seeing anything out there. In the meantime, if you are watching us, let's take a look here. Let's zoom in a little bit closer and talk about Redmond and Oakland, Chrisman and Paris and Ashmore and Georgetown. You guys are kind of next with these really strong winds beginning to move through. So you're going to see that big uptick, 60-mile-an-hour winds plus. You may have the power flicker a little bit. You may have some wind damage there, some trees that may come down in any one of those number of locations tonight. So just kind of be prepared. Again, as I got the power. Oh, yeah, if we can pull up the power flash video there, go ahead and show us that there. On
right
Max.
there.
So there you go. So this was in Southwest Champaign, I believe. You're going to see. Oh yeah. So there's that's when we talk about power flashes, this is what we mean, right, Adam?
Mm-hmm.
So you got that kind of, it's almost like a greenish bluish color. If you see the greenish bluish color, that's going to be a power flash. And that's what you look for a lot of times from either wind damage or a tornado, is that kind of color. It looks different than a lightning flash. Lightning's more white in color a lot of times, but you get the power flash there. Take the video folder just for a second so people kind of see it there a little bit better. And then sometimes you may get some of that orange. Well, that sometimes is some fire and some sparks that will occur as a result of that transformer that is blowing. So just for those of you that always wondered, what exactly does a power flash look like? That's it right there. And so you're looking for more of that green and blue as well. If we can, I was watching Jacob there. Jacob, I saw he was behind a fire truck there. Wow, we just got a ton of reports of wires down over in Danville. Just got a mass dump there of reports from Pulse Point with a bunch of power lines down. Jacob, I saw there was a fire truck there, maybe some tree limbs down. Let's just kind of ask him where he's at, because it looks like I've seen a lot of leaves and it looks dark. Is power out there? What do you got?
Yeah, Kevin, we're over in the Green Meadows neighborhood. That is kind of south of Centennial. That's where that power flash video that you showed was. And it looks like power's out here. There's the Circle K to the left. You can't tell. Its lights are off here on Mattis between Kirby and Springfield over towards Centennial. And so there are definitely some outages. That video of the transformer, that was about where I was at for that location there. And I couldn't see any lines down where I was. I know the fire department was kind of looking around, but they didn't seem to be too concerned at this point with anything that was active. So definitely some power outages over here, and it's the southwest side of town again. I know a couple of weeks ago they had some big wind over here, and so maybe that's probably one of the harder hit parts in town. Gonna go check a few other areas out, Kevin. I also want to say I got a message from one of the guys for the tow companies responding to that semi. He says the semi, he doesn't think it rolled. He thinks it was either slid or pushed into the ditch. So they're heading out there to clear that now. And that'll be 2 miles east of St. Joseph. So just a word of warning about that. So we're going to check a few other spots out here in town that we've had some reports from, but definitely seeing large part of Green Meadows areas around Centennial in the dark tonight, Kevin. Live in the Storm Tracker. I'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Jacob. There. So again, parts of Champaign, as you said, kind of over towards Centennial High School, the Circle K, that's right there. Again, he was driving right by, and I didn't even know there was a gas station there because it was so dark. It looks like he's coming into more lit areas there. So some sporadic areas there where we've had some power. Again, I'm getting a ton of messages from some of you here that are coming into my Facebook inbox here. So I'm just going to kind of read some of them here. Getting really windy north of Mattoon is what I'm seeing here. When will Danville get hit? Well, it's literally coming in there as we speak. If you're watching us in Danville, just getting in some, looks like in Arcola, a few trees that are down there in Arcola. Again, you can send over any pictures of damage, power lines down, trees down, if you want to. News at WCIA.com. Email news@WCIA.com, or on the WCIA weather app, there's a function on there where you can submit a photo within the app. Just click submit photo. You can send stuff to any of our Facebook page inboxes here as well. But we're watching for all of that. Let's see what else here. Power out in Homer, I'm being told. Winds and rain really heavy. So Homer there. No sirens, but the wind is really bad in Longview. And looks like, again, still tracking some strong storms there coming into Oakwood. Does look like that traffic issue there potentially on I-74 is at least cleared enough to where the road is not being impacted. Telton getting hit with pretty heavy winds. And let's see here, power flash line. Trying to see where this is at. Sorry, just kind of reading all these things on the fly. In the Scottswood area in Urbana, fire department over there in Urbana, where there are some additional power flashes. So probably similar video to what we saw. So there's just some of the reports, and I know they continue to kind of stream in here with us. Let's do a little bit of weather camera. Let's do a little bit of a weather camera tour for us. There's Danville. You're literally getting hit right now with the storm. You can see the winds that are kicking up a little bit more there. What I'm going to do is we're going to take a look at some of our other cameras, including in Mattoon right now. Let's see what Mattoon's showing us here. And if I can get that camera to pull up. So there we go. Looks like not a whole lot there just yet. Charleston there as well, finding some of that. There's Charleston. Looks like the wind kicking up a little bit, so you're going to get some of those strong winds. Jacob has got some more red and blue lights at his location, where potential firefighters are probably out there tending to what most likely is going to be either power line down or something of that nature, I'm guessing there, Jacob. Is that right? What's that location that you're at?
Yeah, hey Kevin, we're over on Church Street west of downtown, and the fire department is here. Don't know what the call is, but I'm gonna kind of move out of the way. There's some more coming down behind me, and we'll kind of see what's going on. I'm seeing multiple units pulling up into this area. I imagine it has to do with some power issues, perhaps. I had to turn the corner there. They were kind of directing me out of the way. You can see the road as well here. There's a lot of limbs and whatnot that are knocked down. It's been one of the big deals for us, is where we've seen there's been a lot of small sticks and limbs, the stuff that'll make those burn piles and whatnot in town here. But we've seen a few larger branches and a few trees down, and so we're keeping an eye on, of course, some of those reports are coming on. And so turning back around, I'm on a Church, and let's see, this street is, checking here, Church and Garfield, where we're at now, and just kind of analyzing what's going on here. We'll see if we can't get some information. I know more units are just pulling up now, so we will check back with you shortly here, Kevin.
Okay. Sounds good. So there's Jacob. We'll continue to watch his shot. Again, he's in Champaign. Just getting some more reports here. I'm going to read some of these. Limbs down, power poles broken in 2 miles northwest of Savoy. So some power poles broken 2 miles northwest of Savoy. I've got in Macon County, 3 miles southwest of Forsyth, limbs broken and shingles blown off the roof there. Okay. And let's see, just a ton of wires down in Danville, Holiday Drive, Arlington Drive, Alpha Drive, Woodbury Hill Road, Keegan Street in Tilton, Knollcrest Drive in Danville. Those are all the ones that were just named off to us here. So again, guys, just numerous, areas, maybe not every power pole is going to get snapped. Not every tree is coming down, obviously, but we are getting in a lot of areas where isolated reports of whether it be from the winds there that came through. Sometimes it can be lightning related, but definitely the winds have been the big story here. Not had hardly any reports of hail, but we have had, again, just a lot of wind damage reports here. Just got a message here that strong winds coming into Charleston right now, and that is going to be the camera that you're looking at. So we're going to be watching our camera here in Charleston as it probably starts to pick up some of the wind. So we're going to be keeping an eye down there into Coles County right now. You can see some of the lightning that is flashing there. You guys have largely gone kind of unscathed so far here throughout the course of tonight. But now you guys are getting hit pretty good down into Coles County and getting your turn at all of this. So if you're between Mattoon and Charleston, probably those strong winds, and Ashmore. We're talking about to Edgar County there in Paris here, seeing some of the winds. And again, we just kind of click back to the velocity colors, and that's all these kind of reds. I mean, that whole area. I mean, this whole area here, potentially, you've still got some decent winds in there. So, I mean, there's still plenty of wind energy with some of this, even behind kind of that initial surge that you've got, still seeing some gusts. So there's Danville as well. And so we'll be watching the cameras here, still getting reports that are funneling into us here. It takes a while for us to kind of hear about everything. So there again is a look at the camera in Charleston, where things are going to be kicking up even more. And then we'll go back over to Danville, where Vermilion County is still under the severe thunderstorm warning at this time. It looks like things, still storming there. I don't see the trees kind of moving around as much as they once were, but still many areas finding these really strong winds moving through the region here on this very late. Is it only Monday, by the way? It is just a Monday night here. It feels like we've done a couple of days of work here already. Still just a Monday night here. Still seeing some of those lightning flashes kind of coming into us. You may see that occasional power flash where there's still some strong winds. You may see that kind of greenish blue color again. And when that occurs, that's obviously going to be where power is going to be out in an area because a transformer most likely has blown. Here's the wide view of things. Here's the loop. Let's take you back. That's just a 3-hour loop. That all just happened in the past 3 hours. Take you back to about 7:51, where storms were coming into the Peoria area. They were racing to the south and east, just as we were thinking. Now, I will say the storms definitely did come in a couple hours earlier than what some of the models were showing here. The question is, what are any of these guys going to do back here as this kind of gets going? I think what may happen is, are these storms that are kind of back here north of Springfield are going to start to kind of like dive a little bit more to the south. So, you may impact portions of Sangamon County that hasn't seen a ton, maybe Christian County there, Macon, Macoupin, Morgan counties. So some of that area back there, we're going to have to watch out for with this. You're going to have a lot of the atmosphere that kind of gets worked over as a result of this line that just came through, Piatt and Macon and Champaign and Vermilion counties here. Getting into more reports, Batestown Road and Mock Lane in Danville, more wires down. Again, a lot of power line reports coming into us here. That's going to be the biggest thing. We've heard more about power lines than we've had, a ton of trees or a ton of roof damage, which I guess, if anything, that's kind of what you want. Maybe is power lines over the roof or over, having big trees come down. Yes, I know you might lose your power. You don't like that, but usually they can try to restore that, hopefully in a quick manner. Adam, what do you got?
Here's there for you, Kevin. If we can go back
go
to
ahead.
Max 1. This is from Jen over in Danville. She's got a tree down in her yard. We've got a couple trees that we've seen here across the area. But again, we've seen more power lines than we have seen trees, which is relatively good news here. Those are easier to put up. Trees, not so much. And then this is from Pontiac, underneath the kind of shingling there in the yard or in the house. I can look at the Facebook post real quick. From what I've seen from comments, it looked like it was one of their spots underneath kind of the edges of the house there. So from Lori Gibson there, they'll look there at Pontiac. So again, we have seen some of those kind of damages, and some of them a little bit more interesting, definitely wind related for some of these. Kevin, back to you.
All right. Thank you for those reports out there. Thanks for the pictures. Thanks for all of you that are sending in things. Again, every time I turn around, I come back to my Facebook inbox and it's full of things again here. So I'm just going to, I read these kind of in real time to kind of see what we've got. Still saying power kind of keeps going in and out there in Urbana, probably because there's that transformer, or there might be a power line that's arcing. And so you might get, the power to, come on and off sometimes. So I had somebody reporting that. Let's see here. Looks like the storm's coming over Catlin right now. Let's see. Still rocking pretty good over in St. Joe, I'm being told. Starting to get a little bit of rain there in Mattoon, and the winds are picking up. And that's the thing, as I mentioned before, you're going to have, the wind before the rain. The winds kick up first, and then you get some of that rain to really start to drive in. Sometimes 10 minutes after you get kind of that initial surge of wind. So maybe it's not the typical things you always get. Usually maybe that wind and rain kind of come all together at the same time. But here we are definitely seeing the stronger winds kind of come out ahead of the line. So let's see here. More reports coming into us. A big tree branch down on the corner of Norman and Bowman Streets down the road. Let's see, starting to get some strong winds coming across into Indiana. It's still, wow, I'm getting some more videos of these power flashes that are coming in. Again, make sure you're never going near any of these power lines. You don't want to get out there and do that. And all right, guys, that's kind of what we're looking at here at this time with all of these storms as they kind of move through the area. Still finding areas in Coles County and in Edgar County, into portions of Moultrie County now, and Sullivan, finding the strong gusty winds. Let's see here. Emergency manager reporting that numerous power lines and trees are down in Vermilion County. Again, in Champaign, we've got the trees down, some shingles off some roofs, power poles broken. And again, we had that 62-mile-an-hour gust down in Savoy at Willard Airport after the storms rolled through. Bement also had, looks like a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust over near Bement as the storms came through. Also trees and some shingles down in Macon County and down near the Mount Zion area where we've had some wind damage. So tons and tons of these reports still kind of trickling in here to us tonight. And all of these storms continue to dive to the south and east and still really bringing it. I'm watching Jacob's camera there as it continues to drive through the area, encountering, at times some darker areas, some power outages. And as crews are out there, I want to say thanks to all the power crews and linemen that are going to be out there working here tonight to restore some of the power. Obviously, let them do their thing, and don't approach any of those power lines. Give them a call so that they can come and take care of the situation there, and so nobody gets hurt there tonight. But a lot of pictures still come into us and videos of some of these power flashes and wind damage reports as well. So here's what I'm going to have our crew do right here at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock. Since we don't actually have any more severe thunderstorm warnings, we're going to transition back off of TV and then go back onto just streaming online, as we don't have any more tornado warnings. We've still got a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings, and we're still going to be talking to you guys down in Coles County and Edgar County, Vermilion and Clark County here. But we're going to pull back off of the television aspect, but this is a great time to remind people that you can watch our streams online at WCA.com, on the website, on the news and weather app, on Facebook, on Twitter. You can find us in a lot of different places. So you can go to any one of those and pick up our stream even after we go off of the television aspect of things. So because of the tornado warnings that have all expired, the severe thunderstorm warning criteria now going back to just kind of the regular run-of-the-mill severe thunderstorm warning, we're going to go ahead and pull things back off of TV here. Any other final reports or words from Adam or Seth or Jason? You guys got any kind of last-minute things? Okay.
On from Debbie over in didn't give us position, but she does have some car damage from a tree. It doesn't really say where it's from, but
okay. All right, Seth, anything?
The Savoy looked like power was on throughout. There's just a little bit of debris in the road, but tiny branches. Looks like the main part of town's fine on Neal Street.
Okay, so here in about a minute, again, we're going to go back to the regular programming And what we will do is we'll continue to broadcast here for you on all of our streaming platforms. So I encourage you to head over there on Facebook and Twitter, online, the weather app. And also, if you did not get a chance, you can sign up for a weather call. Next time, you can get an actual phone call from us. If you actually didn't get that initial, alert, sometimes you don't always get that. We actually have a new service. You can sign up for it, and we actually call you when there's a warning, weather call. You can go on WCA.com on the weather page and find that out there as well. So join us there on the streaming platforms. That's where our coverage is going to continue. For those of you that are watching us in still Vermilion, Edgar, and Coles County, where that severe thunderstorm warning is still in effect. Okay, guys, we appreciate everybody that has been joining us here with our live severe weather coverage. I hope everybody has a safe rest of your night and you got through the storms okay. Again, head over to our streaming platforms to see more. In the meantime, for meteorologist Jacob Dickey, Seth Bonoff, and Adam Schwinski, I'm Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty. Stay safe out there. Okay, we're back on just the streaming here now, just online. If you're joining us here and still watching our coverage here, thanks for staying up here with us. So again, because of maybe a slight lowering of some of that severe weather, no tornado warnings in effect, we kind of jump back off, but we jump off the TV, but we stay online here in terms of the severe weather potential that is out there for a few of us, not everybody, but there are warnings that are continuing for Vermilion and Champaign Vermilion, sliver of Champaign, but really more into Edgar, Douglas, and Coles County here tonight. That's what we've got here. I know in Charleston, you guys are starting to see some pretty good winds that kind of just rolled through down there, eventually down into Cumberland and Clark County. Definitely not as strong of a wind signature that we had earlier, but still definitely the idea is that these storms are still going to be able to bring with it quite a bit of wind, maybe 60 miles an hour. More reports that are coming into us here. Let's see. Limbs down, power poles 3 miles east of Danville. Large tree limbs down at Hemlock and Crescent Drive in Champaign. Limbs down on Harrington Drive. Power outage on Mattis and Sangamon Drive. All of those just coming in the last few seconds. Again, Willard Airport had a 62-mile-an-hour wind gust a little bit earlier. The severe thunderstorm warning for Champaign and Douglas County has been canceled. So when we look now at just the warnings, the area is just under warnings now. Now you've got Coles and Edgar in the sliver of southeastern Vermilion County. It's pretty much all that is left as of right now. We widen the view out. I like to see that no other warnings are in effect with any of those other storms to the north and west. We've got flash flood warnings up that way. But right now, we've got just kind of a small little slither of our viewing area where severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect. So running down 150 there, and you got Chrisman, Paris, Kansas, Charleston still with severe thunderstorm warnings. If you're watching us out there tonight, if you're continuing to watch our coverage here tonight, let us know. We're watching it from on the stream because I know a lot of you are still on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot here. So let us know where you may still be watching. Maybe we can do some specific coverage to kind of help out your area here this evening. Again, the whole weather team is still hanging out in here tonight with Seth and Adam, and Jacob's still kind of been driving around in the storm tracker, just seeing kind of what he's going on. We've got some people asking us here, and we'll try to answer some of your guys' questions here. Can I leave my basement in Urbana? You can. You can definitely do that. Again, the areas that we're still going to be watching, we're mainly down into, say, Moultrie and Coles and Edgar County now. That's kind of the biggest, down into Cumberland and Clark County, maybe Shelby County there. This stuff back here to the north and west hasn't looked impressive at all, which is good. So there really is just kind of a smaller area. So I know some of you watching looks like in Greenup and in Newman. Still watching us over in Danville. You're good if you're watching us over in Bondville. Charleston, I'd hold off just a little bit more. Same there in Paris. Rossville, still watching. Shelbyville, still keeping an eye on things for you. But again, you get into Champaign and Urbana, things are looking better for you. They're looking better there in, let's see here. I'm trying to read off some of the other towns that you guys are watching this from. I think Atwood is starting to look a little bit better there as well. But if you're literally just kind of watching us here into Vermilion, southern Vermilion County, any of Edgar and Coles, still just watching things, you're still going to get some of those winds. We've already had numerous reports of lines down there into Danville as the storms have come through. So not quite out of the woods here just yet for those locations. But yes, if you're in Champaign or Urbana, you're good. You can go back to sleep. Shouldn't have any issues here for you tonight. If you're obviously up in Gibson City and Watseka and Paxton, all of you are looking okay here through the rest of tonight in Farmer City and Clinton and Argenta and Decatur. Really, it is the leading edge of our line that stretches from across Shelbyville to Neoga over to KZ, Toledo, Marshall, those areas there. We're still kind of watching anywhere along that leading edge in that area where you generally have some of the rain, the heavier rain, those reds and oranges and yellows on the radar. The rest of the area, I think you're going to be okay here tonight because we put the loop on this. Watch the storms as they evolve, and they really started to kind of tap into some of that wind energy, and the storms were moving at a faster pace. And so while some of the models are trying to keep some of this around pretty late into the night, it does look like things kind of sped up a little bit, which is some good news. And now we're seeing those storms kind of move across the area here tonight and in a faster pace and kind of clearing the area. So I think the tornadic threat is low. Pretty low more than anything. We're going to have those 60-mile-an-hour winds. I don't see the high-end winds anymore. I'm not seeing 70 miles an hour like we had a little bit earlier. I'm seeing kind of some lower ends, but listen, it's still going pretty good over there into Vermilion County. But I don't see as strong of winds down in Douglas and Coles and Edgar that we had a little bit earlier. But still, we will keep a close eye on all of this over the next kind of hour or so, and facilitate and pass along any reports that we may get. Seth, anything over there, bud?
Just kind of watching the latest.
Is his mic turned on over there? Is everybody's mics?
Which mic are you? I'm on 6. I don't see.
Oh, you can't be on 6. Got to be on 8. 8 or sports, or yeah. We'll check in with him here in a little bit.
I have something to add, Kevin.
Oh, there we go. Well, yeah, is your mic on?
Mine should be on. Check one, too. Yeah, looks like it's on. I can double check it. Make sure.
Which one? Do you know which one you're on?
I am on Coinker.
Okay, I think. Yeah. Let me make sure that. Can you tap on it? Yeah, I think you got to be on that. You got to be on Anchor, Weather, Sports, or 8. Yeah, Anchor, Weather, Sports, or 8. Anyways, here's what I'll do. Magic of passing along the mic. Here you go. Take my mic and talk.
Hey there, Kevin. Thank you so much for being gracious enough to let me borrow your microphone there.
Are you going to talk about Magic? I'm going to switch you over to.
Yep. Not a problem.
So yeah, we're still just streaming over here, but yeah, we're good. Yeah, Yeah, this thing I just for a little bit, but we're streaming online. This thing I just for. All right, I'm going.
So if we're on Max 1 right now,
I'm on the quad right now.
oh, we're all over the place. It's all right, guys.
That's right there. I thought that was Max 1. It's all good. The fun we get here streaming it.
Yes.
I am on sports
now. Okay, there we go. Now we're good.
All right, now we can do this. So here's from Muhammad there from Caitlin Badger. You can see that there's been some stripping of some of that tree there and some branches down. That's just one picture we just got recently in from Jacob's page. He posted a thing about reports. If you want to post there, we'll kind of grab what we need here for picture-wise there. But again, lots of trees down. Then they had Muhammad's got one spot right there. Looks like a very wooded area. And this is from Debbie. Doesn't have a specific spot here, but there's some car damage there. She didn't give a detailed location of where it was, but also a tree landing on some cars, it looks like. That's a big chunk of a tree, if not more than a limb. I think it's the top of a tree almost, it looks like, if not a very, very, very large limb. So again, we've had quite some damage out there already, and trees have been one of them. Also a lot of power lines too as well. So something to keep in mind here, that we've got a lot of that activity. And we're not done with the severe weather threat either. Again, we had those warnings. We're watching, thankfully, that tornado watch to finally kind of peel back a little bit here. Looks like that tornado watch now done for our viewing area. I might have to pull that back here on this graphic, but now we're still contending with that severe thunderstorm watch until 4 a.m. So that's what we're really focusing on for right now, as these storms are bowing through the region or moving through the region right now and rolling through the area right now. Let's take a look at radar real quick here, and Kevin's going to show radar more. But again, out to the west is what we're watching there, south of Peoria. Almost some build back of some thunderstorms here. So these are starting to move out towards our edges of our viewing area, which is some good news. Bad news is we still have some thunderstorms to contend with as well. So we're not quite done just yet with the severe weather threat. We're going to keep an eye on this as we continue to move forward here. And we've had a lot of windy conditions. Again, Kevin showed just within the 3 hours, we went all the way out from just to the west of Peoria, and then now finally starting to see that move out of our very viewing area. These are some good moving storms, not super fast, but 55 miles per hour, that'll do it for some of these cells as they've moved on out of here. Again, we're watching those storms just south of Peoria there, starting to move through. A lot of active weather there up in northern Indiana. I just got a text from mom and dad. They had a tornado warning earlier. They said they were all good to go back home. So that's something I've also been watching too as well, to kind of keep tabs on everything here. But keep sending your reports in via email. We love to see it. Also, we love to see it there on our Facebook pages too. That way we can kind of get some more idea of what's going on here, and we'll kind of keep tabs on things as we continue to move forward in time.
Perfect. Thank you, Adam. All right. What we're going to do is I'm going to send things over to Jacob, who is still hanging out there in the storm tracker here tonight. And let's see here. That is his shot right now. So let me pull up his audio, and we will go to Jacob. Jacob, you looks like you may have found some tree damage. Where are you at? What have you found?
Yeah, hey, Kevin. We are southeast of downtown Urbana, the intersection of Oregon and Maple Street here. And this house here in the corner, the northeast corner, actually, part of this tree fell into the house there. As I pan up, I think you might be able to see it about the top, middle of the part of the tree. Big chunk of it has been broken off and pulled to the side there into the home. It looks like also this car here has some damage, probably for the tree landing on it. Right here just at this intersection, and there's a number of spots that are having issues with that here. I'm going to move forward a little bit. I've seen a lot of large trees damaged in this area. First off, you can see the road there is got some stuff on it, but I'll come up here another block and you're going to see the part of the road is blocked off by some trees up here. There's some people that are out kind of investigating things. A lot of areas out of power over here as well. This is California Street. And I believe this is the one. It may have been the street behind me. Yes. So I'll turn the corner here. See, there's another street. Got a bit of a tree on the vehicle here as well. So you can see a lot of these streets in southeast Urbana have some tree damage and things of that. So yeah, that's a pretty big one that's there, Kevin, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a huge tree. I don't even know if the people know that their car has a tree on it right now.
Yeah, I've seen a few folks walking around, some folks with flashlights. I think it's a block south. I think it's Oregon Street. There was also another big tree blocking the road there to the east of Vine Street here, kind of past that Marathon gas station. So we're seeing a lot of spots like this where trees are down. There's been some barricades that are up. Folks are, I think there's actually construction in this area, so it's kind of convenient that these barricades are up anyways. Yeah, kind of seeing a lot more of that strong wind damage in this part of town. And we'll kind of keep touring around and chit-chatting with you guys about it. See some folks behind me kind of walking up. We might just check with them. And you want to see if I can talk to some of the people that are out and about, Kevin? They may not. They're walking away. They're running fast. They see me coming.
Yeah, Jacob, if you want to talk to some people, can you tell me again?
No,
We had some people asking the specific road that you were at. What road are you at over there where that is?
Yeah, I'm in California, east of Vine, right southeast of downtown. Hey, how y'all doing? You guys have trees that down, or say that again?
2 trees on top of the house.
2 trees on top of your house? Where you live?
Right
Next house over from this one.
Oh, you're right up here, just north?
Yeah.
Just on the other house. This white one, just on the other one.
Okay, so they're 2 houses up, and is it trees in the front or the backyard, or?
They were in the back and they fell across the garage and the house.
Wow. So did it puncture the roof?
Doesn't look like it. I hope it didn't punch through the roof. I can't tell that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it crunched the back of the garage. My neighbor on the corner right
Uh-huh.
here next door, the roof punched.
Really? It seems like right here, southeast part of downtown is just like probably some of the worst in town. Like, there's some more trees over there and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, it
So-
seems like this area got a lot.
Yeah, now, okay, the streetlights have power, but I think they run that underground. Are you guys have power in your house?
Nope.
No.
No power? So I think,
There's tree limbs laying on the power line.
Okay.
Backyard.
The line in our backyard is snapped and pulled away from the house.
oh, you've got power lines
Oh, it
snapped, you
pulled it
said?
completely off. Huh?
Yeah, and the wires are just hanging there. I tried calling Ameren, but you can't get a person.
Yeah, there's a lot of spots in town that have some damage and things of that. So,
The fire
I know-
department said that Ameren was coming around.
yeah, I'm not sure when. I mean, there's a lot of across the area and stuff like that. So, yeah. Well, hey, thanks for chatting with me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
What a mess.
Yeah, that car kind of looks like the front of it's smashed in there. So, like right straight in front, that tree. It looks like it's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So.
put we squeezed both of our cars into the garage. Thank goodness.
Oh, did you? You got both your cars?
Yeah, because the
Afraid
tree
of
would have
hell.
fallen on the car.
Wow.
Well, I was afraid of hell because last time we were here 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
We were gone out of town and
Uh-huh.
a storm came and it was hell and put big dents in our car. I'm like,
Yeah.
God.
What are y'all's names, if you don't mind?
Huh?
What's y'all's names, if you don't mind?
I'm Jen.
All right, so there's Jacob there. He's talking to some residents in that area where that is in Urbana. We've had a lot of people asking where that is located. That's actually, he said, just off of downtown there of Urbana, where all of those locations are.
Just making sure double checking my mic, making sure it's
Which
good
one
to
are you
go.
on?
I am on 8.
8. So
Yes.
let's turn up. Yep. Go ahead.
So yeah, right now we here, Kevin, just got an email from Amanda Brennan, one of our reporters here at WCIA, and probably people were wondering, well, why did we have sirens go off in Champaign County if we didn't have a tornado warning? We didn't have one here in town. We had one just to the west of town here, and that's because of their new protocols that they put in place since they've had the derecho last year. So no significant damages report. This is from the EMA coordinator there, the co-EMA coordinator there, John Dwyer for Champaign. A few limbs down west of Champaign, but could have been more, and around the county since there are multiple outages. There's new protocol in place because they had the destructive category tag, and we had the sirens go off because of that. So some new protocol there for Champaign County. That's why you probably heard the siren. Maybe you weren't under the polygon for the tornado warning, but something to keep in mind there for next time when we have some strong winds. Again, some of us probably got those EMS alerts. I got one on my phone earlier this evening as I was heading in. So again, just some new protocols you might notice here. I know when the siren went off here in town, I was kind of shocked here, and then I thought, oh, it's because of those strong winds. So kind of confirming that. Back to you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The new wireless emergency alerts will get sounded when you have this high-end severe thunderstorm warning where they were fearful of 80-mile-an-hour winds. And while we had some of that just in the northwestern area, that was like Peoria. In north of Peoria, they had like 80 to 100. So they were worried that may be continue to be the case. I think the closest we got was 72 in Bloomington. We had the 62 in Champaign or down at Willard there. So that is why those were going off. They're still looking at Jacob shot there right now of some tree damage there. We'll check back in with him here in just a little bit. So are those are special weather statements there?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Kevin. Yeah. Making sure those are not overlapping. They look to be a little bit overlapping with our severe thunderstorm warnings. Oh, those are taking place of those severe thunderstorm warnings, it looks like.
Yep, taking place of it. So we actually don't even have severe thunderstorm warnings now for Coles or Edgar or Cumberland anymore with the winds of weekend. And that's what I was kind of thinking earlier, too, is that the winds seemingly had come down a little bit there on radar. So for the first time here in about 2.5, 3 hours, we are warning free across the area. Warning free. All right, so since warnings are about to expire here, we're gonna wrap things up here in a little bit, but we're gonna go to Jacob first. He's got some more reports, so let's go ahead and we'll pull his shot back up. We will turn on his microphone and we will ask Jacob what he is seeing over there in his neck of the woods with more trees. It looks like Urbana. Now, Urbana, very well known for a lot of trees, and they often take a hit anytime it storms because there are so many trees there. And it looks like you have encountered more of those. So what do you got over there now? And again, Jacob, probably going to be one of your final reports here as we may stop the streaming here as we don't have any more warnings left. So let us know what you've got over there.
Yeah, hey, Kevin, we're still here just southeast of downtown. This area's been hit really hard. There's some of that 70, 80-mile-an-hour wind probably came through here with the amount of tree damage in a very concentrated area. Might have been one of those microbursts that came through, one of those short, small little downbursts, because for about 3-4 blocks, there's trees down on every block. I've talked to 4 or 5 different homeowners that are walking the streets. They're like, yeah, I got tree on my garage. I've got tree on my roof. My neighbors have trees in their yard. You're seeing some of it here. This is a house here. This is Illinois, and we're still on, I believe it's California. And I'll kind of turn here into the driveway, and you'll see, I might not be able to make it here. Let me try that one more time. Try to avoid trees on the road myself here, and a bunch of those branches. You can see those limbs. So cut a little bit wider, and you'll be able to see there's that tree and one of these large branches, and this house here that's gotten a lot of damage, a big tree on it. There's trees up here on the roof, kind of up there. It's maybe a little bit dark to see, but you can see this big limb. That's a big limb that came down here from the neighbor's tree. And so there's that. As I go north of the block, then we'll back up here. There's more pretty intense tree damage. The road here now blocked north of Illinois Street. There's that tree you can see there down. That road impassable. And I'll turn to the left here. We're by the First Wesleyan Church, and you can see folks are out in this neighborhood cleaning up the debris, trying to clear the roads. This road blocked off. This is about 2 blocks east of Lincoln Square Mall here, where you can see quite a bit of tree damage. I don't think there's a yard that doesn't have tree damage here, Kevin, looking at things, and some of it's really some, not just branches. Some of these are big limbs. The house right to my left here, it looks like a tree hit the roof. Wow, let me pull the camera off here, give you this angle really fast. I'm thinking, I wish you could see it here. Can you see that very well? There you go. Look at that. Did you see that there? The front of the tree is down. I mean, yeah. And so that's a big tree that's down in that. So there's going to be a lot of cleanup and some stories of what happened here in Urbana. Straight line winds. Let me check here. I think it's Illinois Street. I'm at Illinois Street near Urbana Avenue. I'm a block east of the Urbana Police Department. That's on High Street, so I'm southeast of that. Kind of between the Marathon gas station and the Urbana Police Department. Illinois Street is the road that goes south of Lincoln Square Mall there. You can kind of take it back all the way over to campus. So that's kind of what we're dealing with here. You can see folks are Yeah, these are actually the same folks I was just. They were the same folks I just talked to the next block over. So yeah, you can kind of see here. Nobody's house. Is this your house here?
No, this is my neighbor's
This is your neighbor's. See, yours is over there.
next to it.
That's a. I mean, that's a big tree. And yeah, here, let me turn the camera. He's got a flashlight, Kevin. Let's see if we can see it a little bit better. You can kind of see him. You know, lighting up that tree that came on there, punctured through. So quite a bit of intense tree damage here in Urbana, Kevin. This is probably one of the harder hit areas.
Okay, Jacob, appreciate the report over there with us here. Yeah, Urbana looks like you got pretty hard. Yeah, thumbs up there. I'm going to allow you, I'm going to have you, do you want to shoot some video on your phone and whatnot, and so you can get some B-roll? Is that, I'm going to let you go do that so you can get some video on your phone there. I don't know, try to get some stuff back so they might be able to use some of that for the morning show. Adam, you got anything over there?
No, I'm seeing a lot of people asking about, is Danville clear? And looking at radar, it's looking like we're wrapping up that rain right now. We still have some showers out there, but I know a lot of folks are asking about Vermilion County right now. So something to keep in mind. Everyone else has been saying that some spots are saying we've just got some storms now. Some spots are saying that we're getting some nice sleeping rain, which is nice to hear. So yeah, a lot of spots are asking just what's going on right now. And I think now that we're not seeing as many warnings, that's some of the good news here for some of the folks. Someone asked if Champagne's in the clear. Yeah, we're pretty much wrapping up our warnings as we speak. A lot of those now in Indiana.
Yeah, no more warnings here for us. And again, everybody kept asking, where is that? Where is that? Where is that? It's in Urbana. Urbana took a lot of tree damage there. He was closer to the downtown area. So that's where Jacob was, where those trees were down. I think he said Illinois and
Urbana Avenue.
See Urbana, yeah.
Urbana Avenue. It's in Urbana. Downtown area, a lot of trees down. So again, we don't have any other warnings that are in effect. This is the latest view of the thunderstorms that are kind of going through Neoga and Casey. They are below severe limits. They're saying that there still might be some gusty winds there, but below severe criteria. They don't have any more warnings there that are in effect. I'm just going to take a quick little glance. I want to take a quick little glance at any of the short-term radars here for the rest of, or models here for the rest of tonight. They still want to keep some of those storms going to come in. So I don't think that we're completely done with storms per se. I think there still actually might be some additional storms here through tonight. We're just kind of watching this activity back here. I think the severe weather threat, though, is going to continue to fade. But this area back here probably does kind of slide to the south and east. We may see still some storms here through tonight, but the severe weather threat, I think, really is still pretty low. We'll still watch down there in, Cumberland and Clark counties, and maybe eventually into Effingham County there, but it's kind of getting out of our area as things are dying down. There are no more warnings. I think what we're going to have here are going to be cleanup. It's going to be areas, dealing with the trees and power lines that are down, and we've had a lot of reports of those. And a lot of you, maybe a lot of people that didn't even know, probably don't even know what kind of damage they may have had if they were in bed at, 9:30, 10 o'clock tonight. So some of those reports may be delayed coming in when they wake up and kind of see what's going on. But that's kind of what we're dealing with here. Seth, you got anything over there before?
Not particularly. I would just say final takeaways from the rest of the night. I just looked at the outage map. There's still quite a few without power. There's about 9,400 without power here in Champaign. So still a pretty big number at this point in the night. But kind of just going off what you said with that little back building going on there kind of northwest of here, I think probably the biggest thing that'll end up doing is maybe just add a little bit of a flood risk at some point. Doesn't look like it's going to move too fast. But yeah, from a pure severe weather perspective, I think the worst is obviously coming on, and if anything, maybe just adding a bit more rain to places that probably saw the most earlier. But that's pretty much my takeaways for the remainder of the evening. So
again, you can really see the outages here when you look at the map here. So when you can just kind of see down here into the reds and oranges, that's a lot of people, and you can see how many we've got up here. Kankakee County must get hit pretty hard. They got 12,000, almost 13,000 without power in Kankakee County. So quite a bit up there. Looks like, again, Champaign County, like you mentioned there, 9,420 and 9,000 of those there from Ameren. Let's just pull up their outage site while we're here just for a second. And it looks like Sydney, Homer, St. Joe area there got hit pretty hard. I mean, those are quite a bit of your, wow, St. Joe, 1,737 customers. That's the whole town.
That's probably everyone.
That's the whole town there in St. Joe. That's a lot. 752 kind of down there near Homer. So I think 1,200 down near Sydney, Philo area. That's going to be that whole area as well. So when we just look at that, I think, and this lines up perfectly with what I was thinking when we were looking at this on radar. But yeah, I'd be curious. We'll probably be looking at St. Joe, Sydney, Homer, all of those areas for probably quite a bit of either power line damage or tree damage, because I mean that's the bulk of the customers right there. And if you add those up, 17,752, that's 2,400, and that's going to be like 3,700 customers just in that St. Joe, Sydney, Homer, maybe Philo areas without power. So that's going to be a large chunk. And then you just kind of back it out. You can see all the other ones. Looks like over near Cisco, you get some of those blue triangles there. Those are going to be some of the other higher amounts. So yeah, wow. Quite a bit of outages there. And let me just see if any other counties. Looks like Macon County too, 4,600 are without power there. And again, a lot of those, 4,300 of those are going to be from Macon County there. And it looks like maybe on the east side of town, maybe some of the higher amounts. Where are those 4,000? Must be just a lot of little ones there into Decatur itself. There's 429 there on kind of the southeast side of Decatur. So that's what we've got there, guys. So, all right, I think we are going to continue to kind of wrap things up here for tonight, at least from the streaming aspect of things, as you get to see 12 of me on screen there. Hello. I know, it's a nightmare. Let's go back to the Storm Tracker Doppler here real quick. And again, as we kind of wrap up our coverage here for you, as Seth was just mentioning, some flash flooding potential may exist as that next little round of rain comes in. I mean, these were obviously efficient rainfall makers, so any additional rainfall could still be an issue. But definitely seeing these storms down here still drop some heavy rainfall, but below severe limits. So we're going to be continue to monitor that, but not as concerned as what we had a little bit earlier. Okay, guys? All right. Thanks, everybody who tuned in here to our live coverage, whether you're on TV, watching us on the various platforms of Facebook. Bookmark us here on these pages, whether it's the apps or the Facebook page you've been watching on. We're always here when there are warnings. If you're new to kind of the crew and hanging out with the WCA3 weather team, this is what we do all the time. So you can always count on us. We're always going to be here to let you guys know what is going on when severe weather rolls through parts of central Illinois. Full recap on the morning show, 5 a.m. They're going to have more on what's going to happen with, any of the damage reports, power outages, what you can expect. If anything else comes across to us, you can go to WCA.com, follow us in our Facebook pages. We'll post any other further reports. So tune in on the morning show starting at 5 a.m. for more updates on what transpired here overnight. Okay, let's go wrap it up. For meteorologist Adam Sherwinski, Seth Bonoff, and Jacob Dickey, I'm Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty. Thanks to our crew behind the scenes as well for all of their help. That's going to do it for tonight's severe weather coverage. If any other reports come in, as always, we will jump on. In the meantime, hope you guys all have a restful and safe rest of your night, and we will catch you the next go around. Have a good night, guys.